What if just 4 hours could completely shift the way you see the world and yourself? What if, in that time, you could begin to think with more clarity, act with more purpose, and face life with steady confidence? It's not a fantasy. It's philosophy, practical, proven, and timeless. Welcome to 4 hours of Stoicism that will transform your thinking forever. For centuries, Stoicism has helped people rise above confusion, fear, and impulse, replacing chaos with calm and distraction with direction. This guide is more than information, it's transformation. Over the next 4 hours, you'll explore the powerful Stoic ideas that challenge the way you think, strip away what doesn't matter, and bring you closer to the life you were meant to live. You'll learn how to face problems with wisdom, respond to emotions with strength, and think clearly in a noisy world. Ready to change the way you think and the way you live? Let's begin. Have you ever dreamed of a world where everything you desire becomes reality? A place where your goals, dreams, and aspirations aren't just possibilities, but tangible realities? You're in the right place. Today, we're going to discuss a secret that can help you achieve precisely that. It's not magic. It's not a trick. It's a life philosophy, Stoicism. Stoicism teaches us the importance of focusing on ourselves, our actions, our reactions, and our mindset. It shows us how, by doing so, we can transform our reality and make incredible things happen. In this comprehensive exploration, we'll delve into 15 Stoic principles that will help you do exactly that. Each principle will be explained in detail, accompanied by quotes from Stoic philosophers that illuminate their meaning. The ancient philosophy of Stoicism, founded in Athens around 300 BCE, has survived for over 2 millennia because of its practical wisdom and timeless relevance. Unlike many philosophical systems that remain abstract and theoretical, Stoicism provides concrete tools for navigating life's challenges while maintaining inner peace and personal growth. The Stoics understood that while we cannot control external events, we possess complete authority over our responses, thoughts, and actions. This understanding forms the foundation of Stoic practice and represents perhaps the most liberating realization a person can have. When we truly grasp that our happiness, peace, and fulfillment depend not on external circumstances, but on our internal responses, we become empowered to create the life we desire, regardless of what happens around us. The first transformative principle is ataraxia, which represents inner peace and tranquility. This Greek term translates to imperturbability or unshakable calm. The Stoics believed that true happiness isn't found in external pleasures or others' approval, but in the tranquility of the mind. Ataraxia is achieved by accepting the world as it is, without wishing things were different. It's understanding that we cannot control external events, only our reaction to them. By freeing ourselves from expectations and accepting reality, we can find inner peace. As the famous Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not things that upset us, but our opinions about things." This phrase reminds us that our inner peace depends on how we interpret and respond to life's events, not on the events themselves. Ataraxia, therefore, is a powerful key to focusing on yourself. By cultivating inner peace, you can free yourself from unnecessary worries and concentrate on what truly matters, your growth and personal development. The practice of ataraxia involves developing a deep acceptance of life's natural flow. This doesn't mean becoming passive or indifferent, but rather approaching challenges with equanimity and wisdom. When we stop fighting against reality and instead work with it, we discover an inner strength and peace that external circumstances cannot disturb. This state of mind allows us to make clearer decisions, respond more thoughtfully to difficulties, and maintain our composure even in the most challenging situations. The second principle, amor fati, translates to love your fate. This concept invites us to accept and love everything life brings us, both good and bad. Instead of resisting challenges or lamenting adversities, the Stoics teach us to embrace them as part of our path. Amor fati is the practice of seeing every event in our lives, even the most difficult ones, as necessary and beneficial for our growth. It's understanding that every experience, no matter how painful or challenging, has a purpose and can teach us valuable lessons. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once said, "Accept what comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could better fit your needs?" This quote reminds us that every event in our lives is exactly what we need in that moment to learn, grow, and evolve. By practicing amor fati, you can see every challenge as an opportunity for growth and every adversity as a valuable lesson. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development instead of getting trapped in resistance or resentment. Amor fati represents one of the most radical shifts in perspective that Stoicism offers. It asks us to move beyond mere acceptance to actual love and gratitude for our circumstances. This doesn't mean we become masochistic or seek out suffering, but rather that we recognize the growth potential in every situation. When we truly embrace amor fati, we transform from victims of circumstance into architects of our character, using every experience as raw material for becoming the person we aspire to be. The third principle is prosoche, which translates to mindfulness or attention. The Stoics emphasize the importance of living in the present and paying attention to our current actions and thoughts. Prosoche is the practice of being completely present in each moment, paying attention to our actions, thoughts, and emotions without judgment. It's the awareness that we only have control over our actions and reactions in the present, and that our attention should be focused on doing what's right here and now. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "Don't ask for things to happen as you wish, but wish for things as they happen, and you will be happy." This quote reminds us that we must accept reality as it is and focus our attention on our own actions and reactions. By practicing prosoche, you can learn to live in the present and focus on what you can control, your own actions and reactions. This mindfulness will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development instead of worrying about what's outside your control. Prosoche involves developing a heightened awareness of our moment-to-moment experience. This includes noticing our automatic reactions, questioning our assumptions, and consciously choosing our responses rather than operating on autopilot. When we practice true mindfulness in the Stoic sense, we become active participants in our lives rather than passive observers, taking responsibility for our thoughts, emotions, and actions in each present moment. The fourth principle is eudaimonia, which translates to the good life or happiness. The Stoics believed that true happiness isn't found in ephemeral pleasures or accumulating wealth, but in living a life of virtue and purpose. Eudaimonia is achieved by living according to nature, which for the Stoics means living virtuously. It's understanding that our true happiness and satisfaction come from our own actions and character, not from external circumstances. As the famous Stoic philosopher Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor." This phrase reminds us that our true wealth and happiness depend on our character and actions, not on our material possessions. Eudaimonia, therefore, is a powerful key to focusing on yourself. By seeking the good life through virtue and purpose, you can find lasting and meaningful satisfaction. Eudaimonia in the Stoic context is fundamentally different from the modern concept of happiness as a feeling or emotion. Instead, it represents a way of being, a life lived in accordance with wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. This form of happiness is stable and enduring because it doesn't depend on external validation or circumstances. When we orient our lives around virtue rather than pleasure or success, we create a foundation for genuine fulfillment that cannot be shaken by external events. The fifth principle is memento mori, which translates to remember you will die. This concept reminds us of the inevitability of death and invites us to live each day as if it were our last. Memento mori is a practice of reflection on our mortality, not to provoke fear, but to inspire action. By remembering that our life is finite, we can appreciate each moment and live with greater purpose and intensity. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly." This quote reminds us that each day is a gift and that we should live it in the best way possible. By practicing memento mori, you can learn to appreciate each moment and live each day with purpose and gratitude. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development instead of worrying about what you cannot control. The contemplation of mortality serves as a powerful motivator for authentic living. When we truly internalize the temporary nature of our existence, trivial concerns fade away, and we naturally prioritize what truly matters. This practice helps us distinguish between what is essential and what is merely urgent, leading to more intentional choices about how we spend our time and energy. The sixth principle is enkrateia, which translates to self-control. The Stoics understood that self-control is fundamental to living a virtuous and satisfying life. Enkrateia is the practice of exercising control over our actions, thoughts, and emotions. It's the ability to resist temptations and maintain composure in difficult situations. The Stoics believed that self-control allows us to live according to our values and principles rather than being dragged along by our passions or external circumstances. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "Wealth is not secured by the abundance of things one possesses or by the abundance of pleasures, but by the absence of desire." This quote reminds us that true self-control isn't about suppressing our desires, but about freeing ourselves from them. By practicing enkrateia, you can learn to exercise control over your actions and emotions, which will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Self-control in the Stoic sense isn't about rigid suppression or denial of natural human impulses. Instead, it's about developing the wisdom to distinguish between what serves our highest good and what merely provides temporary gratification. This form of self-mastery comes from understanding our values deeply and aligning our actions with them consistently, even when faced with immediate temptations or pressures. The seventh principle is affiliation, or the sense of belonging. The Stoics believed that we are all part of a larger community and that we have the responsibility to contribute to others' well-being. Affiliation is the practice of recognizing our connection with others and acting accordingly. It's understanding that our actions have an impact on others and that we must consider this impact in our decisions. Heracles, a Stoic philosopher, proposed a model of concentric circles of affiliation in which oneself is at the center, followed by family, friends, community, humanity, and finally, the cosmos. This model reminds us that we are part of something greater and that our actions can have an impact beyond ourselves. By practicing affiliation, you can learn to consider the impact of your actions on others and contribute to your community's well-being. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development, while simultaneously contributing to others' well-being. The concept of affiliation reflects the Stoic understanding that individual flourishing and collective well-being are intimately connected. We cannot truly thrive in isolation, nor can we build a good life at others' expense. This principle encourages us to expand our circle of concern gradually, starting with ourselves and extending outward, recognizing that our ultimate well-being is tied to the well-being of all humanity. The eighth principle is love for humanity. The Stoics believed in the importance of kindness and generosity toward others. This is the practice of acting with kindness and generosity toward others without expecting anything in return. It's understanding that we are all part of the same human community and that we have the responsibility to care for and support others. Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." This quote reminds us that we always have the opportunity to act with kindness and generosity regardless of circumstances. By practicing this, you can learn to act with kindness and generosity, which will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development while simultaneously contributing to others' well-being. Love for humanity in the Stoic context goes beyond mere sentiment or abstract goodwill. It's an active commitment to the welfare of our fellow human beings, rooted in the recognition that we all share the same fundamental nature and face similar challenges in life. This principle transforms how we interact with others, moving us from judgment and criticism to compassion and understanding. The ninth principle is moderation. The Stoics believed in the importance of living a balanced life and avoiding excesses. Moderation is the practice of seeking balance in all areas of our lives. It's understanding that excesses, whether in pleasures or difficulties, can lead us to unhappiness and suffering. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few needs." This quote reminds us that true wealth and happiness come from living a balanced and moderate life, not from accumulating possessions or pleasures. By practicing moderation, you can learn to seek balance in your life and avoid excesses. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Moderation doesn't mean living a life devoid of pleasure or beauty, but rather maintaining a healthy relationship with all aspects of experience. It's about finding the golden mean between extremes, neither indulging excessively nor depriving ourselves unnecessarily. This balanced approach to life creates stability and prevents the emotional volatility that comes from swinging between extremes. The 10th principle involves differentiating what we can control from what we cannot control. The Stoics believed that the key to living a tranquil and satisfying life is to concentrate on things that are under our control and accept things that are outside our control. This is the practice of differentiating between our actions and thoughts that are under our control and external events that are outside our control. It's understanding that we cannot control what happens around us, but we can control how we respond to it. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "It's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about things." This quote reminds us that our peace and happiness depend on how we interpret and respond to life's events, not on the events themselves. By practicing this differentiation, you can learn to concentrate on what you can control and accept what you cannot control. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. This fundamental distinction forms the cornerstone of Stoic practice and represents perhaps the most practical wisdom the philosophy offers. When we truly understand and internalize this principle, we stop wasting energy on things beyond our influence and instead channel all our effort into areas where we can make a genuine difference. This leads to both greater effectiveness and greater peace of mind. The 11th principle is the contemplation of future challenges or adversities. The Stoics regularly practice the exercise of visualizing possible challenges or difficulties they might face in the future. This is the practice of anticipating and mentally preparing for possible challenges or adversities. It's not about being pessimistic, but about being prepared and having an action plan in case things don't go as we expect. Seneca, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "The wise man always considers that adversity is possible and therefore is prepared to face it." This quote reminds us that true wisdom isn't found in expecting the best, but in being prepared for the worst. By practicing this contemplation, you can learn to anticipate and prepare for challenges, which will allow you to maintain calm and composure even in the most difficult situations. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. This practice, sometimes called negative visualization, isn't about cultivating pessimism or anxiety about the future. Instead, it's about building resilience and emotional strength by mentally rehearsing how we would handle various challenges. By contemplating potential difficulties while we're in a calm state, we develop the psychological resources to handle them if they actually occur. The 12th principle is universal connection. The Stoics believed that we are all part of a greater whole and that we are intrinsically connected to the universe. This is the practice of recognizing our connection to the universe and acting accordingly. It's understanding that our actions have an impact on the universe and that we must consider this impact in our decisions. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." This quote reminds us that we are part of a greater whole and that our actions can have an impact beyond ourselves. By practicing universal connection, you can learn to consider the impact of your actions on the universe and contribute to the universal community's well-being. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. The concept of universal connection reflects the Stoic understanding that we are not isolated individuals, but integral parts of a cosmic whole. This perspective encourages us to think beyond our immediate self-interest and consider how our choices align with the greater good. It's a recognition that our individual flourishing is connected to the flourishing of the entire universe. The 13th principle is arete, which translates to excellence of character. The Stoics believed that life's goal is to develop a virtuous character and live according to nature. Arete is the practice of cultivating virtues and living according to our values. It's understanding that our true happiness and satisfaction come from our own actions and character, not from external circumstances. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "Don't seek to have events happen as you want them, but want events as they happen, and you will have a tranquil life." This quote reminds us that our peace and happiness depend on how we interpret and respond to life's events, not on the events themselves. By practicing arete, you can learn to cultivate a virtuous character and live according to your values. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Arete represents the culmination of Stoic practice, the development of wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance as integrated aspects of character. This isn't about moral perfection, but about the continuous effort to align our actions with our highest values. When we make virtue our primary goal, external achievements become secondary, and we find fulfillment in the process of becoming rather than in the outcomes we achieve. The 14th principle is duty. The Stoics believed that each of us has a duty or moral responsibility toward ourselves and others. This is the practice of fulfilling our duties and responsibilities not out of obligation or fear of consequences, but because it's the right thing to do. It's understanding that our actions have an impact on ourselves and others, and that we must act according to our values and principles. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Do what is in harmony with the nature of a good man." This quote reminds us that our duty is to act according to our nature and live a virtuous life. By practicing duty, you can learn to fulfill your duties and responsibilities in a way that's in harmony with your values and principles. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Duty in the Stoic sense isn't about external obligation imposed by others, but about internal commitment arising from our understanding of what it means to live well. It's about recognizing our roles and relationships and fulfilling them with integrity and care, not because we must, but because doing so aligns with our deepest values and contributes to the common good. The 15th and final principle is logos, which translates to universal reason. The Stoics believed that the universe is governed by an inherent reason or logic, and that we should strive to live in harmony with this reason. Logos is the practice of seeking truth and wisdom through reason and logic. It's understanding that our actions and decisions should be guided by reason, not by emotions or desires. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Everything that happens in the way that universal nature wants it to happen." This quote reminds us that we should strive to understand and live in harmony with universal reason. By practicing logos, you can learn to make rational decisions and live in harmony with universal reason. This perspective will allow you to focus on yourself and your personal development. Logos represents the Stoic understanding that there is an underlying rational order to the universe, and that by aligning ourselves with this order, we can live in harmony with nature and find our proper place in the cosmic scheme. This doesn't mean becoming coldly logical, but rather developing the wisdom to see things as they truly are and respond appropriately. We have reached the end of our journey through the 15 Stoic principles for focusing on yourself. Each of these principles offers us a unique perspective on how to live a full and meaningful life. From ataraxia to logos, these principles remind us that we have the power to control our actions and reactions, to live according to our values and principles, and to contribute to others' well-being. Remember, Stoicism isn't just an ancient philosophy, but a practical guide for daily life. By applying these principles in your life, you can find inner peace, live with purpose, and unleash your potential. The beauty of Stoic philosophy lies not in its theoretical complexity, but in its practical simplicity. These principles don't require special circumstances or perfect conditions to implement. They can be practiced anywhere, anytime, by anyone willing to take responsibility for their inner life. The transformation that comes from practicing these principles is gradual but profound. As you begin to focus more on what you can control and less on what you cannot, as you develop greater self-awareness and self-discipline, as you cultivate virtues and align your actions with your values, you'll discover that your life becomes more fulfilling and meaningful. You'll find that external circumstances have less power to disturb your peace, and you'll develop the resilience to handle whatever challenges life presents. The Stoic path is not about becoming emotionless or indifferent to life's experiences. Rather, it's about developing the wisdom to respond to life's ups and downs with equanimity and grace. It's about finding joy in virtue, meaning in service to others, and peace in acceptance of what cannot be changed. Most importantly, it's about recognizing that happiness and fulfillment come not from getting what we want, but from wanting what we have and making the best of our circumstances. So are you ready to embark on this journey of self-discovery and personal growth? As the great Stoic Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." The path of Stoicism requires courage. The courage to examine ourselves honestly, to take responsibility for our reactions, and to live according to our highest values, even when it's challenging. These 15 principles provide a comprehensive framework for personal transformation, but remember that knowledge without application is merely intellectual entertainment. The real value comes from putting these ideas into practice day by day, moment by moment, in the small decisions and reactions that make up our lives. Start where you are, with what you have, and take the first step toward the person you want to become. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Stoicism. We hope these principles inspire you to focus on yourself and live a full and meaningful life. Until next time, remember that the power to transform your life lies within you, waiting to be awakened through the timeless wisdom of Stoic philosophy. Have you ever felt like life was testing you, pushing you to the edge, making you question whether things will ever get better? What if I told you that the darkest moments in your life are actually the signs that something amazing is about to happen? That your struggles, your failures, and even your loneliness are not the end, but the beginning of something greater? Yes, there are signs, clear signals from the universe that good times are right around the corner. But most people miss them. They don't realize that the pain they're experiencing is actually paving the way for their breakthrough. The human experience is filled with cycles of expansion and contraction, periods of struggle followed by periods of growth. Yet in our modern world, we've somehow lost touch with this natural rhythm. We expect linear progress, constant upward momentum, and immediate gratification. When life doesn't unfold according to our expectations, we interpret setbacks as failures and challenges as evidence that we're on the wrong path. This misunderstanding causes us to miss the most important signals that transformation is imminent. Throughout history, great transformations have always been preceded by periods of apparent chaos. The caterpillar must dissolve completely before emerging as a butterfly. The seed must be buried in darkness before sprouting into light. The phoenix must burn before rising from its ashes. These are not merely poetic metaphors, they represent fundamental patterns of growth and renewal that govern all aspects of life, including your personal journey. Understanding these patterns and recognizing the signs of impending breakthrough can be the difference between giving up just before your moment of triumph and persevering through the final stretch of your transformation. The signs are there, waiting to be recognized by those who know what to look for. They appear in the midst of confusion, during periods of loss, through unexpected opportunities, and even in the depths of apparent failure. The first powerful indicator that your life is about to change dramatically involves the overwhelming sensation of feeling lost and confused. This isn't the casual uncertainty we might feel when making a small decision, but rather a profound disorientation that seems to touch every aspect of your existence. You find yourself questioning everything: your decisions, your relationships, your career path, and even your fundamental purpose in life. It's that overwhelming feeling of being stuck in the middle of nowhere, unsure of which direction to take, as if the ground beneath you is shifting and making you doubt whether you're even on the right path. But here's what most people don't realize. This isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign that transformation is on its way. Think about it carefully. When do people feel lost the most? It's not when they're stuck in a routine, living on autopilot, repeating the same patterns over and over. No, it happens when they're on the verge of something new, when their old life no longer fits, but the new one hasn't fully revealed itself yet. This confusion, this discomfort, is your cocoon breaking. Imagine a butterfly trapped inside its cocoon. It doesn't know what's happening. It's dark, it's tight, it feels suffocating, and then the struggle begins. It fights, pushing against the walls, desperately trying to break free. It doesn't realize that this battle is exactly what makes its wings strong enough to fly. Without this struggle, the butterfly would never leave the ground. The same is true for you right now. You might feel like nothing is making sense. You might feel like your life is falling apart. But what if it's not falling apart? What if it's falling into place? What if the confusion you're feeling is just the process of shedding your old self, making space for the person you're about to become? Every great transformation begins with a period of uncertainty. The people who never feel lost are usually the ones who never grow. But those who embrace the confusion, who sit with it instead of running from it, are the ones who come out on the other side stronger, wiser, and ready to step into the life they were truly meant to live. This disorientation serves a crucial purpose. It breaks down the rigid structures and limiting beliefs that have kept you confined to your current reality. When everything feels uncertain, you become open to possibilities that would have seemed impossible before. So if you're feeling lost right now, don't panic. Don't think of it as an ending. Think of it as the beginning of something greater than you can even imagine. This lost feeling is not a detour from your path. It is the path. It's the necessary dissolution that precedes reconstruction, the darkness that comes before dawn. The second significant sign involves the painful but necessary process of losing people who were once close to you. Have you ever noticed that as you start growing, evolving, and seeing life differently, certain people begin to drift away? The friendships that once felt unbreakable start to fade. Conversations that used to flow effortlessly now feel forced and awkward. The people who once supported you suddenly seem distant, uninterested, or even resentful of your growth. It's painful, it's confusing, and worst of all, it can make you feel like you're the problem. But what if I told you this is one of the clearest signs that something big is about to change in your life? Here's the truth. When you're about to level up, not everyone is meant to come with you. You can't carry everyone into your next chapter because not everyone is meant to be part of your story's next phase. Some people were only meant to walk with you for a certain distance, to teach you something, to play a role in your past, but they were never meant to be in your future. Think of it like a rocket launching into space. At a certain altitude, the boosters fall away, not because they were useless, but because their purpose has been fulfilled. If they stayed attached, they would hold the rocket back from reaching its full potential. The same applies to life. The people you're losing, it's not an accident, it's alignment. Your energy is shifting, your vibration is changing, and you're naturally attracting and repelling different types of people based on your new frequency. But here's where most people go wrong. They cling to the past. They try to revive dead relationships, to hold on to people who have already shown that they're not meant to stay. And in doing so, they block the people who are meant to enter their lives. They spend so much energy trying to maintain connections that no longer serve them, that they have no space or energy left for the relationships that could truly transform their lives. This process of losing people often happens gradually, but sometimes it can feel sudden and dramatic. You might find that old friends stop calling, family members become critical of your choices, or romantic relationships that once seemed solid begin to crumble. While this is happening, you might feel lonely, rejected, or misunderstood. You might question whether your growth is worth the cost of these relationships. But understand this: the universe is making room. When the right people enter your life, those who truly see you, support your growth, and align with your new direction, you'll look back and realize that losing those old connections was the best thing that ever happened to you. The loneliness you feel now is not permanent. It's temporary. It's the space between who you were and who you're becoming. And soon that space will be filled with people who match your new energy. The third powerful indicator manifests through unexpected opportunities beginning to appear in your life. Have you ever felt like you've been struggling for so long that you've almost given up hope? Maybe you've faced rejection after rejection, lost money, missed chances, or felt stuck in a cycle of setbacks. But then, out of nowhere, something shifts. Suddenly, small opportunities start appearing. Maybe it's a random job offer, an unexpected financial break, a new connection, or even just an idea that fills you with excitement. It might not seem like much at first, but this is no accident. This is a sign that your breakthrough is coming. The universe works in mysterious ways. It rarely hands you success on a silver platter. Instead, it drops hints, small stepping stones, tiny doors that most people overlook. The problem is that most people dismiss these opportunities because they seem too small or not what they were expecting. But here's the truth. Big changes often start with small openings. Think about it. How many success stories start with someone randomly stumbling upon an idea, a meeting, or a chance encounter that changed everything? Most people don't realize they're standing in front of a doorway because it doesn't look the way they imagined it. They expect the universe to send them a golden invitation when, in reality, it usually starts with something as simple as a conversation, an offer, or an unexpected twist of fate. These opportunities often come disguised. They might appear as extra work, a favor someone asks of you, an invitation to an event you're not sure about, or a suggestion to try something completely outside your comfort zone. The key is learning to recognize the potential in these seemingly small moments. Every major breakthrough in your life will likely trace back to one of these insignificant opportunities that you chose to pursue. But here's the crucial part. You must act on these opportunities. If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll miss the signs completely. Even the smallest opportunity can be the spark that ignites your biggest transformation. These openings require faith and courage because you often can't see where they'll lead. You have to trust that they're part of a larger pattern guiding you toward your destiny. If you notice unexpected chances coming your way, don't hesitate. Take them, explore them, and trust that they're leading you somewhere greater than you can see right now. Because when doors start opening, even just a crack, it's a sign that something much bigger is about to unfold in your life. The fourth sign emerges as an overwhelming feeling that you need to change something fundamental about your life. Have you ever woken up one day and felt like something in your life just isn't right anymore? Maybe your daily routine feels exhausting instead of fulfilling. The job you once loved now feels suffocating. The people around you no longer inspire you, and deep inside, there's this unshakable feeling that you're meant for something more. You can't explain it, but you just know you need a change. That feeling, that's not just restlessness. That's your intuition screaming at you. Most people ignore this urge. They convince themselves that it's just a phase, that they should be grateful for what they have, that taking a risk might be dangerous. But here's the truth. When your soul starts craving change, it's because you've outgrown your current reality. Think of it like wearing a pair of shoes that used to fit perfectly, but now every step feels tight and uncomfortable. You can try to force yourself to keep walking in them, but eventually the pain will become unbearable. This is what happens when you resist change. The more you ignore your intuition, the more uncomfortable life will become. The job that once made you happy will start draining your energy. The relationships that once felt secure will feel forced. Even your daily routine will start feeling like a prison. This happens because when your soul is ready to evolve, staying the same will start to hurt. Your higher self is calling you forward, and every day you resist that call, the tension between who you are and who you're meant to become grows stronger. This tension manifests as dissatisfaction, restlessness, anxiety, or a general sense that life is passing you by. But here's the most important part. This feeling is a sign that something better is waiting for you on the other side. That restless energy is not meant to frustrate you. It's meant to wake you up. It's the universe nudging you towards something greater, pushing you out of your comfort zone so you can step into the life you're truly meant to live. The changes you're being called to make might seem scary or impractical. They might require you to leave behind security, comfort, or the approval of others. But understand that this discomfort is purposeful. It's designed to make staying where you are more painful than taking the leap into the unknown. Your soul is using discomfort as a compass, pointing you in the direction of your growth. So, if you've been feeling this urge, don't silence it. Listen to it, honor it, act on it. Because the moment you start following that inner calling, you'll realize that it wasn't just a random feeling. It was your future self pulling you toward the life you were always meant to have. The fifth indicator reveals itself through an increased focus on self-improvement and personal development. Have you ever felt a sudden, unstoppable urge to improve yourself? Maybe you've started reading books you never cared about before. You're drawn to motivational content, life lessons, and success stories. You find yourself questioning old habits and replacing them with new, better ones. This isn't just a phase. This is your mind preparing you for the next level of your life. Most people don't wake up one day and suddenly want to improve themselves for no reason. That hunger for growth, that deep need to become better, is a sign that something big is about to shift in your life. It's like your subconscious already knows that new opportunities, new challenges, and new blessings are on the way, and it's getting you ready to handle them. Think about it. You wouldn't train for a marathon if you weren't about to run one. In the same way, you wouldn't suddenly crave knowledge, discipline, and self-improvement unless your future required you to level up. Your mindset is shifting because your reality is about to shift. The version of you that's coming needs to be sharper, stronger, and more prepared than ever before. This phase of intense self-improvement often feels almost compulsive. You might find yourself staying up late reading personal development books, listening to podcasts during every spare moment, or completely restructuring your daily routine to include new healthy habits. You might start exercising regularly for the first time in years, begin meditating, or decide to learn new skills that have nothing to do with your current job or circumstances. What's happening is that you're unconsciously preparing for opportunities and challenges that haven't manifested yet. Your inner wisdom recognizes that transformation is coming and is ensuring you'll be ready when it arrives. This preparation phase is crucial because the opportunities that are coming will require you to be a different person than you are today. But here's what most people don't realize. Self-improvement isn't random. It's a sign that you're stepping into a new chapter, a sign that the struggles you've been through weren't for nothing, a sign that you're being positioned for something greater. Your soul is preparing you for elevation, and every book you read, every habit you change, every skill you develop is building the foundation for your new reality. So if you're suddenly obsessed with learning, if you're pushing yourself harder, if you feel this inner drive to be more than who you were yesterday, embrace it. This is your transformation phase. Your future is calling, and you are getting ready to answer. The sixth sign appears through what seems like an endless series of setbacks and challenges. Have you ever felt like life is hitting you from every direction? One problem after another, like an endless storm that refuses to pass. You try to move forward, but every step feels like a battle. You fix one issue and two more appear. It's frustrating, it's exhausting, and worst of all, it makes you question whether you're even on the right path. But what if I told you this isn't a sign of failure? It's a sign that something big is about to shift. It may sound crazy, but before every major breakthrough, life tests you. It pushes you, shakes you, and challenges you to your very core. Why? Because it wants to see if you're truly ready for the next level. Think about it. If success, happiness, and transformation were handed to you effortlessly, you wouldn't value them. You wouldn't be prepared to handle them. The struggle is not a punishment, it's preparation. Look at some of the most successful, powerful people in history. Almost all of them went through an intense period of struggle before their big break. Why? Because that struggle built their resilience. It forced them to grow into the person they needed to be in order to handle what was coming next. And right now, that's exactly what's happening to you. These setbacks aren't random, they're strategic. Each challenge is teaching you something, strengthening something, or removing something that would hold you back in your new reality. The universe is stress testing you, making sure you have the strength, wisdom, and character to handle the success that's coming. Imagine an archer pulling back a bowstring. The farther it's pulled back, the greater the force when it's finally released. Your setbacks are that bowstring. Every challenge, every delay, every failure is pulling you back, not to break you, but to launch you forward with unstoppable momentum. The further back you're pulled, the more powerful your eventual launch will be. These setbacks often intensify right before a breakthrough because the universe needs to clear away everything that doesn't align with your new path. Old patterns, limiting beliefs, toxic relationships, and outdated circumstances must be removed to make space for what's coming. Sometimes this removal process is gentle, but often it's dramatic and painful because we resist letting go of what we know, even when it no longer serves us. During this phase, you might lose money, face rejection, experience health challenges, or encounter one obstacle after another in your career or relationships. It can feel like everything is working against you, like you're cursed or destined for failure. But what's really happening is that you're being refined, strengthened, and prepared for a level of success you've never experienced before. So, if you feel like everything is going wrong, if you're drowning in setbacks, and nothing seems to be working, don't give up. It's not the end of your story, it's the turning point. Because when life pushes you to your limits, it's not trying to destroy you, it's trying to transform you. And if you hold on just a little longer, you'll see that everything was falling apart just so it could come together in a way you never expected. The seventh and perhaps most profound sign involves experiencing a deep sense of peace despite external chaos. This is the ultimate sign, the one that defies all logic. Your world might be falling apart. Finances are tight. Relationships are crumbling. Challenges are stacking up one after another. But strangely, you don't feel panic. Instead, deep inside, there's an unshakable sense of calm, a feeling that even though everything around you seems to be in chaos, something big is about to shift in your favor. This feeling is not an illusion. It's not denial. It's your soul recognizing the truth before your mind can fully grasp it. It's like standing in the eye of a storm. The winds are raging, destruction is all around. But right where you stand, there's silence, stillness, peace. That's because you are exactly where you need to be. Most people expect peace to come after things settle down, but those who are about to step into their breakthrough experience it before it happens. Why? Because your soul already knows the outcome. It senses that all the setbacks, all the struggles, all the losses weren't meant to break you. They were meant to align you with something greater. This inexplicable peace is different from the false calm that comes from denial or numbness. It's an active, aware tranquility that coexists with full acknowledgement of your challenges. You see the storm, you feel its effects, but you're not afraid of it. Instead, you have an inner knowing that this storm has a purpose and that it's clearing the path for something beautiful. Think about it. Have you ever seen someone going through the hardest time of their life, yet they carry themselves with a quiet strength? They're not broken, they're not bitter. They just know, deep down, that everything happening right now is part of a bigger plan. That kind of peace is not ordinary. That kind of peace is a sign. This profound calm often comes after you've been through enough challenges to know that you're stronger than you thought. You've survived things you didn't think you could survive, and that gives you confidence that you can handle whatever comes next. You begin to trust the process of life, even when you can't see where it's leading. When you reach this state, you stop fighting against your circumstances and start flowing with them. You maintain your effort and take appropriate action, but you're no longer attached to specific outcomes in the same desperate way. You understand that something bigger than your limited perspective is orchestrating events, and you trust that orchestration even when it's temporarily uncomfortable. So if you're feeling this strange, quiet confidence, even when everything on the outside looks uncertain, trust it. It means your breakthrough is closer than you think. It means the storm isn't here to destroy you, it's here to clear the path. And on the other side of this chaos, your good times are waiting. Understanding these 7 signs can transform how you navigate life's challenges. Instead of seeing difficulties as evidence of failure, you can recognize them as signals of impending transformation. Instead of fearing change, you can embrace it as evolution. Instead of feeling victimized by setbacks, you can see them as preparation for your breakthrough. The key is learning to trust the process even when you can't see the destination. Your transformation is happening whether you recognize it or not. But when you understand these signs, you can actively participate in your evolution instead of merely enduring it. You can make choices that align with where you're going rather than clinging to where you've been. Remember, every breakthrough looks like a breakdown before it's complete. Every butterfly was once a caterpillar that thought the world was ending. Every phoenix rises from what appears to be total destruction. Your current challenges are not evidence that you're on the wrong path. They're proof that you're on the right one. The universe doesn't make mistakes. If you're experiencing these signs, it's because you're ready for what's coming next, even if you don't feel ready. Trust the process, embrace the journey, and prepare yourself for the amazing transformation that's about to unfold in your life. Your breakthrough is not just possible, it's inevitable. Have you ever wondered what happens when you just disappear from someone's life? I'm not talking about pulling back slightly, I mean completely vanishing. No texts, no calls, no contact. What would they really feel when you're gone? In today's world where people constantly think they can take others for granted, let's flip the script. Disappear, and I promise their world will fall apart. If you've ever been in a relationship or situation where someone has gotten too comfortable with treating you like an option, this exploration is for you. We're diving deep into a powerful concept today: what they truly feel when you simply vanish from their life. We'll examine the intense emotional journey that unfolds when you disappear, and by the end, you'll understand why sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away and never look back. The psychology behind human attachment and loss reveals fascinating truths about how we value what we have versus what we've lost. Most people operate under the assumption that their relationships and connections are permanent fixtures in their lives. They develop a sense of security around certain people, believing these individuals will always be available, always be there to provide comfort, validation, or simply familiarity. This assumption creates a dangerous complacency that leads to taking people for granted. When someone becomes too comfortable in a dynamic where they hold the power, where they know you'll always be there regardless of how they treat you, they unconsciously begin to devalue your presence. They start seeing you as a given rather than a gift. Your consistent availability becomes expected rather than appreciated. This is human nature at its most predictable. We tend to value scarcity and dismiss abundance, even when that abundance comes in the form of genuine care and affection from another person. The moment you remove yourself from this equation, everything changes. Suddenly, the person who took you for granted is forced to confront a reality they never prepared for: life without you. This confrontation triggers a cascade of emotional responses that can be both intense and transformative, not just for them, but for your own understanding of your worth and power in relationships. The first wave of emotion they experience is the sharp, unexpected sting of rejection. This is where it all begins. They never expected you to vanish, not really. In their mind, you were always going to be there. You were the one who put in the effort, the one who made the plans, the one who cared. You were the person they could rely on, until suddenly, you weren't. When you disappear, it's like hitting them with a brick they never saw coming. You've probably heard the saying, "You never know what you have until it's gone." And that's exactly what happens when you vanish. But let me make this clear. When you remove yourself from their life, it's not just about the physical absence. It's about pulling away everything that you represented: the comfort, the validation, the constant availability. They feel rejected, but it's not a surface-level rejection. It's a deep, personal sting because for the first time, they realize they don't have control over you. People don't like to admit it, but when they know someone will always be around, they start treating them like a safety net. You become an option, not a priority. When you vanish, you snatch that safety net right out from under them, and that's when the panic sets in. It's like free falling. They thought they could take you for granted, and suddenly they're left wondering how this happened, how they lost control of a situation they thought they had mastered. The sting of rejection hits especially hard when you've been emotionally available. They took your love and your presence as a given. They assumed you'd always be there no matter what they did. Maybe they even thought they were doing you a favor by keeping you around. That's the real irony. They think they're giving you crumbs, but in reality, you've been the one holding the relationship together. If you want to make them feel the genuine impact of rejection, you can't give them any warning. Don't tell them you're leaving, don't give them ultimatums, and definitely don't ask for their attention one more time. Just go. Ghost them completely. When you disappear without explanation, it hits harder because they never saw it coming. It forces them to reflect on their actions, but it also tells them loud and clear that you're done being disrespected. Following the initial shock comes something even more powerful, the void of missing you. After the sting of rejection settles in, they start feeling something else entirely. Emptiness. They didn't think they'd miss you, did they? In fact, they probably convinced themselves that they wouldn't care if you left. If they leave, I'll just move on, they thought. But what happens when you actually disappear? They start to feel the void, and it's not just any void, it's the kind of emptiness that gnaws at them. They go through their day doing the same things they've always done, but something is missing. That's when they realize you were the one who added meaning to their life. You brought the energy, the warmth, the emotional stability, and now, without you, everything feels bland. When someone takes you for granted, they assume you're just part of the background. They assume that the dynamic between the two of you is replaceable. But here's the truth. No one else brings what you did to their life. They might try to fill the void with someone else, but it's never the same. You brought a unique energy, one that made their life easier, more enjoyable, more fulfilling. The void grows bigger with every passing day. Maybe they thought they could distract themselves with someone new or with their friends. Maybe they thought they could focus on work or throw themselves into hobbies to get over you. But guess what? That void stays there, reminding them of what they've lost. It's a constant presence, eating away at them because they never thought they'd feel this way about you. Here's the irony. They didn't appreciate you when they had you. They thought they could do better, or maybe they thought you'd always be around. But the second you leave, everything changes. They start missing the little things, the conversations, the laughs, the way you made them feel understood. It's the small, everyday moments that they suddenly crave, but you're not there to provide them anymore. The void deepens because they begin to understand that losing you wasn't just about losing a person, it was about losing a feeling, a sense of security, a source of positive energy that they had unconsciously come to depend on. They realized that your presence had been filling spaces in their life they didn't even know existed until those spaces became glaringly empty. As the void intensifies, overwhelming curiosity takes hold. By this point, they're deep in the emptiness and they start to get desperate. Curiosity kicks in, and it's overwhelming. The big question in their mind now is, where are they? What are they doing? Who are they with? They become obsessed with knowing what's going on in your life because they no longer have access to you. You're a mystery, And nothing is more unsettling than not knowing what's going on with someone who was once so close. In the age of social media, this stage is even more intense. They'll be checking your Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, every platform, just to get a glimpse of what you're up to. But here's the kicker. You're not giving them anything. You've gone dark. No updates, no stories, no posts, nothing. And it drives them crazy. Why? Because human beings hate the unknown. The moment you vanish, their mind starts running wild with questions. This is where their insecurity kicks in. They start wondering if you've moved on. Are they seeing someone else? Are they better off without me? They can't handle not knowing, so they become fixated on trying to find answers. This is when they might even reach out to mutual friends, trying to get information about you. They'll ask questions, but they'll be too proud to admit they care. It's a sad sight, really. Someone who thought they didn't need you now, going out of their way to figure out what you're doing. The truth is, curiosity is a powerful emotion. When someone can't get the answers they want, their mind fills in the gaps. They'll start imagining you with someone else, imagining you happier, more fulfilled without them. And that thought eats away at them day by day. It turns from curiosity into an obsession. Here's the best part. The less they know, the more they want to know. You become the one thing they can't stop thinking about. To fuel their curiosity, you need to become a ghost. Go completely off the grid. Don't post anything that could give them clues about your life. Let them wonder. Let them stew in their own thoughts, trying to figure out what's happening with you. Every time they pick up their phone to check on you and find nothing, it'll drive them closer to the edge. You hold the power now, and their curiosity is your biggest asset. This curiosity phase gradually transitions into something more profound, deep self-reflection. Now we're entering dangerous territory for them. This is where the self-reflection kicks in, and it's not pretty. After days or even weeks of wondering where you are and what you're doing, they finally turn inward. They start asking themselves the hard questions. Was I too distant? Was I too cold? Did I push them away? Did I mess this up? The regret starts creeping in, and it's a bitter pill to swallow. Here's the reality. People don't like to admit when they've made mistakes. It's human nature. But when you disappear, you force them to confront those mistakes head-on. Without you there to reassure them or smooth things over, they're left to face their own behavior, and it's not a fun experience. They start replaying every interaction in their mind, questioning whether they could have done something differently. They remember the times they ignored your texts, the times they brushed off your feelings, the times they made you feel like you were an afterthought. And it hits them hard because deep down, they know they had a good thing going, but that they took it for granted. Now they're stuck with their own thoughts, and those thoughts are brutal. This stage is especially powerful because it's internal. They can't blame you anymore. You're not around to argue with or to make excuses to. The only person they can blame is themselves, and that's a tough pill to swallow. The self-reflection gets deeper as time goes on, and the more they reflect, the more they realize how much they messed up. The guilt builds, and they start wishing they could go back in time and do things differently, but it's too late for that now. During this stage, it's crucial that you don't reach out. Don't try to explain why you left or make them see the error of their ways. Let them figure it out on their own. Self-reflection is most powerful when it happens internally. The more time they spend reflecting, the more they'll realize that they were the reason things went wrong. Let them sit with that guilt. It's a valuable lesson they need to learn. As the self-reflection deepens, something significant shifts inside them, the urge to pursue you. Now that they've spent enough time questioning themselves, They go from self-doubt to wanting you back. The tables have turned completely. You were once the one who put in all the effort, who cared, who pursued. But now it's their turn. The urge to pursue you becomes overwhelming. They can't stop thinking about you, can't stop wanting to reach out, can't stop wondering if it's too late to make things right. They'll start sending those "I've been thinking about you" texts. They'll like your old Instagram posts, maybe even comment on something to see if you respond. They might send a late-night message after a few drinks, hoping to rekindle what was lost. Here's the thing, they're chasing you now. They've gone from taking you for granted to desperately wanting you back. And this is where you hold all the power. The urge to pursue you is strong, but you don't need to respond. In fact, you shouldn't. Let them feel the desperation. Let them wonder if you've moved on. The more they pursue, the more they'll realize that they've lost control of the situation. They no longer hold the upper hand, and that drives them crazy. When they start chasing, don't give in. The moment you respond, the power shifts back to them. You've worked too hard to reclaim your worth, and now is not the time to give that away. Let them pursue you, but don't reward their efforts. Silence is your strongest tool here. Let them feel the frustration of wanting something they can no longer have. During this pursuit phase, they often experience an internal battle between relief and regret. When you first disappear, they might feel a brief sense of relief. It's that initial feeling of freedom. They tell themselves, "Finally, I don't have to deal with them anymore." And maybe they even feel good about it. But here's the thing about that so-called freedom. It's an illusion. It feels exciting at first, but it's superficial and temporary. They go out, hang with their friends, swipe right a few times, and for a moment they think everything's going to be okay. But as soon as they're alone, sitting in their quiet apartment or scrolling through their phone, that's when the regret starts creeping in. They begin to realize that freedom without you is actually emptiness, that the people they thought could replace you are just surface-level distractions. It's like drinking salt water when you're thirsty. It feels like a solution, but it just leaves them more dehydrated, more desperate, more regretful. What's more, in today's world of casual dating and hookups, people often think that moving on will be as easy as finding someone new. But it's not. They quickly learn that you can't replace someone who gave you emotional stability and a real connection with some quick fix or a meaningless fling. And that's the realization that knocks them flat on their back. Let them experience this freedom. Don't rush back in when they start feeling regret. Let them sit in that empty space they thought would feel so good. Remember, the relief they initially feel is temporary, but your absence will haunt them in ways they never expected. As regret settles in, they often panic and resort to playing games. Now they want to control the situation, but they don't know how. So what do? They try to play games. They start acting distant on purpose, trying to make you jealous. They post photos with other people, making it look like they're happy without you. Maybe they post a cryptic status about moving on or a selfie that's trying a little too hard. It's all just one big attempt to reel you back in, to make you wonder what they're up to. But here's the thing. You're not playing anymore. You've outgrown the games. You've moved beyond that childish behavior, and you don't even notice their petty attempts to provoke a reaction. People think that manipulation through jealousy or playing hard to get will make you chase after them. But what happens when you've stopped chasing? When you've grown tired of the game? They'll throw everything at you. Subtle digs, passive-aggressive comments, exaggerated posts on social media. But none of it works, because you're not giving them the attention they crave. You're not engaging in their childish tactics, and that drives them absolutely mad. When they can no longer get a reaction out of you, they lose control completely. They're left flailing, grasping for something they can no longer manipulate. Don't engage. Ignore the cryptic posts. Don't react to the photos with other people. Their game only works if you play. The moment you stop responding is the moment they realize they've lost their power over you. Perhaps the most powerful tool in this entire process is the crushing weight of silence. Silence is one of the most powerful tools you can use when you vanish. The absence of your words, your texts, and your presence speaks louder than anything you could say. It leaves them with nothing but their own thoughts. And here's where it gets tough for them. The silence is so heavy, so unbearable, they start to question everything. They start thinking back to all the times they ignored your calls, all the times they were too busy to reply to your texts, and now they would do anything to hear from you. Silence is torturous for someone who's used to having control. They expect you to reach out. They expect you to ask what's wrong, to beg for an explanation. But what happens when you don't? What happens when you disappear and they have to sit there in the quiet, wondering if they've lost you for good? They can't understand it. Every minute without a word from you feels like a year, and the longer it goes, the more anxious they become. We live in a world of constant communication, texts, calls, notifications, instant gratification. Everyone expects an immediate response. When you don't give them that, they spiral. They're used to the noise of a relationship, the back and forth, even the arguments. But silence is deafening. Let your silence be your power. Don't break it. Don't explain yourself. Let them feel the weight of their own actions through the absence of your words. They'll soon realize that losing access to you is far worse than any argument you could have had. All of these emotional stages culminate in the most powerful reaction of all, the fear that brings them crawling back. This is where it all comes crashing down. Fear. This is the part they never thought would happen, the part where they're actually scared of losing you. For a long time, they were comfortable. They thought you'd always be there. They took your presence for granted, thinking you were the one who'd stick around no matter what. But now you're gone, and they're terrified. The fear hits them harder than anything else. They start to think, what if I lost them for good? What if they've moved on to someone else? The idea of you being with someone new consumes their mind. They'll picture you laughing with someone else, making memories with someone else, and the thought of it makes them sick to their stomach. They're no longer worried about their pride, their ego, or playing it cool. Now all they can think about is getting you back. This fear drives them to do things they swore they'd never do. They'll reach out, they'll apologize, they'll beg. Maybe they send long messages explaining how they didn't appreciate you before, but now they realize how much you meant. Maybe they show up at your door unannounced, hoping for a second chance. Whatever they do, it's motivated by one thing, the overwhelming fear that they've lost you forever. But here's the truth. By the time they feel that fear, you're already gone. You've moved on. You've found your strength, your independence, and you don't need them anymore. Their fear is real, but it's too late. When they come crawling back, don't give them a second chance just because they're afraid. Let them face the consequences of their actions. You've already moved on, and they need to learn that you're not an option to be taken for granted. The final and perhaps most important realization comes with your own emotional independence. This is where everything comes full circle. The realization of your own emotional independence. When you disappear, you're not just walking away from them, you're walking toward your own freedom, your own emotional clarity, your own peace. In many relationships, we get so caught up in making the other person happy, proving our worth, that we forget about our own needs. We forget that we have the power to choose, to walk away, to demand better for ourselves. But once you've vanished, once you've reclaimed your space, you start to see things clearly. You no longer need their validation. You no longer care what they think, how they feel, or what they want. You've realized that your happiness isn't tied to them, and that's the most powerful thing you can experience. This is your emotional independence. Here's the best part. They feel it too. They realize that you're not the same person they once knew. You're stronger now, wiser, more confident. They can sense that you've outgrown them, that you no longer need them to feel complete. This is where the tables have turned for good. They're stuck in the same old patterns, but you've evolved. You've broken free from the cycle of validation, and now their opinion means nothing. Own your emotional independence. Don't go back to the old ways. Don't give them the satisfaction of thinking they still have control over your happiness. You've moved beyond that, and that's your biggest win. The lesson here is profound. Stop giving people the chance to take you for granted. Stop being the person who's always there, no matter how badly they treat you. The moment you walk away, the moment you vanish, everything changes. You hold the power now. They'll feel it, they'll regret it, and they'll realize they've lost something irreplaceable. This process isn't just about making someone else realize your worth. It's about you realizing your own worth. It's about understanding that you deserve better than being treated as an option. It's about reclaiming your power and refusing to accept less than you deserve. When you disappear from someone's life who has taken you for granted, you're not just teaching them a lesson, you're teaching yourself one too. You're learning that you have the strength to walk away from situations that don't serve you. You're discovering that your happiness doesn't depend on someone else's recognition or appreciation. You're realizing that sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is to remove yourself from people who don't value what you bring to their lives. The power of disappearing lies not in the impact it has on them, but in the transformation it creates within you. It's about stepping into the most powerful version of yourself, the version that knows their worth, sets boundaries, and refuses to settle for less than they deserve. When you master this art, you don't just change how others see you, you change how you see yourself. And that transformation is worth more than any relationship that required you to diminish yourself to maintain it. Believing in yourself is more than just a feeling. It's a special skill, a profound way of thinking about life, a clear fact. When learning about yourself, this becomes evident. How much you achieve depends greatly on how much confidence you have in yourself. Not believing in yourself can silently ruin your hopes and dreams. Think about how often natural ability, ready to do amazing things, is held back by fear and doubt. In today's challenge, we're searching for ways to become the best versions of ourselves. Self-confidence doesn't appear suddenly. It comes from knowing and accepting who you are. Stoic philosophy tells us that self-confidence comes from knowing and accepting our good and bad points and using them to our advantage. This ancient wisdom tells us that true confidence is something we find within ourselves, not something that depends on others liking us or praising us. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said that we shouldn't stress about things we can't control. Instead, we should work on what we can change, our attitudes, thoughts, and what we do. This way of thinking helps us deal better with life's difficult times and makes us stronger. Another important part of authentic confidence is being real. It's important to be honest about who you are, what you believe, and what you really want. When you live according to your own rules, not what others expect of you, you create a strong sense of inner peace and stability that is key to true confidence. Thinking about and judging ourselves is also important for being more confident. By looking inward, we can see what we need to work on and be proud of what we've done well. This continuous process of learning and growth helps us know what we can do and overcome our doubts. Being strong when we fail or face problems is also a key part of self-confidence. Stoicism tells us to see problems as opportunities to learn and improve. Accepting and learning from our failures instead of fearing them makes us stronger and more prepared for what comes next. Finally, self-confidence grows by doing things. The Stoics said that just thinking about ideas isn't enough. You need to really use them. So try to use these ideas every day, facing what scares you, making brave decisions, and living according to your beliefs will develop real and lasting confidence. Understanding yourself deeply is the foundation of genuine self-confidence. Explore what it really means to be aware of yourself while building self-confidence. Stoic self-examination isn't just analyzing yourself, it's discovering who you really are in your essence. The main thing isn't what you can do, but who you really are. Epictetus, a famous Stoic thinker, tells us to look closely and discover our true reasons and fears. True self-confidence comes from this honest and deep understanding of oneself. Let's think about how important it is to know yourself well. It's more than just knowing your strengths and weaknesses. You need to see how these connect with what you believe. The key Stoic idea is this: true self-knowledge means aligning your actions with your authentic nature. This alignment is what makes your confidence really strong. How can we use this in our daily life? Start by thinking about your first reactions when things get difficult. Ask yourself, am I reacting quickly or am I acting according to what I really believe? Self-confidence grows from these everyday choices where you act not because you're afraid or want something, but because you know yourself and are honest. Think before reacting. Stop for a moment and ask yourself, is this really me and what I believe? Every time you make a thoughtful choice, you're not only building your confidence, but also being true to yourself. Remember, becoming confident begins with a basic but solid step: understanding yourself. This takes time, patience, and most importantly, being honest with yourself. On this journey, you'll face hard truths, but you'll also discover strengths and abilities you didn't know you had. Learning about yourself requires understanding that it's okay not to know everything and to feel vulnerable sometimes. Being okay with not being sure and knowing your limits is important for growing as a person. This kind of acceptance frees you to try new things and leads to experiences that can change how you see yourself and the world. Another key part of knowing yourself is understanding how strong your thoughts and beliefs are. The way you understand what happens, how you talk to yourself, and what you believe about yourself and your abilities really affects your confidence. If you start having positive internal dialogue and question the doubts you have about yourself, you can begin to change how you think about yourself. Being aware of yourself also means recognizing and appreciating your feelings. Emotions tell you a lot about what really matters to you and what scares you. If you listen to your feelings and understand why you feel them, you can learn a lot about what motivates you and what you really desire. Ultimately, understanding yourself leads to being genuine, sticking to your values, and always being yourself. This isn't always easy. especially when others expect you to act a certain way. However, by being true to yourself, you grow more confident and create stronger and more honest connections with others. In summary, understanding yourself is key to building strong confidence. As you begin to learn more about yourself, you not only improve at understanding who you are, but also at getting along with others and seeing the world in a new way. Every step you take in this process helps you become a better version of yourself. The Stoic principle of focusing on what you can control while accepting what you cannot is fundamental to developing lasting confidence. This isn't about giving up, but about accepting things as they are. Epictetus, a famous Stoic thinker, says that what really counts isn't what happens to us, but how we respond to it. Being okay with what you can't do requires courage. You can't control everything in life, like what others do or what has already happened. When you accept these limits, you have more energy and focus to spend on what you can change, your own actions, responses, and choices. To build your inner strength through acceptance, first observe your daily activities. Notice when you feel upset and feel like you can't do anything. Ask yourself, am I trying to control something that's outside my control? By focusing on the things you can really change, your inner will becomes stronger. This makes you more resistant, adaptable, and confident. In the end, true self-confidence comes from deeply understanding what you can and cannot control. When you accept what you can't change and work on what you can, you not only become stronger and more adaptable, but also develop a calm that demonstrates true confidence. This is Epictetus's wisdom. Be okay with what you can't change and change what you can. This way of thinking helps you live with more inner tranquility. When you accept things you can't control and stop stressing about needing to control everything, you feel more at peace. This calm helps you pay more attention to what you do and how you can do it better. It makes you better at dealing with difficult situations. Additionally, accepting things isn't about doing nothing. It's really about understanding that some things are simply outside our hands. This makes us pay more attention to what we're good at and what we can do. Having this mindset makes us feel more in control and independent. It shows us that although we can't control everything in life, we can always choose how we respond to life. In real life, this could mean letting go of past anger or worries about what's coming. Understanding that we can't redo the past or know the future, but we can improve our life now by what we do today. Also, being kind to yourself, especially when things go wrong, is key to gaining confidence. Knowing that everyone makes mistakes, and that's how we learn, keeps you thinking clearly and helps you keep moving forward with purpose. In the end, accepting things helps you live more honestly. When you stop trying to control what you can't, you have more energy to live according to what you believe and follow what you really love. This makes life more full and rewarding, and confidence grows naturally by living with honesty and a clear objective. Being okay with things you can't change and working on things you can is an excellent way to become more confident. It shows you to pay attention to what you do and be at peace, knowing that you can't control everything, but you can control how you react. This way, you not only grow in confidence, but also in wisdom and calm, which leads to a richer and more meaningful life. Focusing well means paying attention to what's really important and ignoring the rest. Stoic thinking tells us that how good our life is depends a lot on what we focus on. It's about choosing wisely, deciding what deserves our energy and what doesn't. As Marcus Aurelius said, our life is shaped by our thoughts. Paying attention to what's really important requires regular practice and self-control. With so many distractions around us, maintaining focus is difficult. This is where Stoic methods really help. By teaching your mind to overlook unnecessary things, you become better at focusing on your real goals and dreams. To get away from distractions, first figure out what's capturing your attention. Things like social media, worrying too much, or trying to make everyone happy. After knowing what these are, take real steps to reduce their effect. This could include having times when you don't use technology or learning to say no to things that don't match what you believe. You can also improve your focus by doing certain exercises. Meditation is a good way to teach your mind to concentrate on the now. Another useful thing is deciding what you really need to do each day by asking yourself, what's the main thing I need to finish today? Maintaining this focus makes everything you do more intentional and helps build your confidence while living life your way. Keep in mind that focusing isn't just a skill, it's a way of life. By paying attention to what's really important and ignoring other things, you not only achieve more, but also find inner calm, which is really important for feeling confident. This is how Stoics see the importance of focus. Building resilience is perhaps one of the most crucial aspects of developing unshakable confidence. Stoicism teaches us a great lesson. Strength isn't something you're born with, you develop it. Stoic strength is more than just surviving difficult times. It's about turning problems into opportunities to improve. As Seneca said, it's not what happens to you, but how you handle it that really shows who you are. In Stoicism, it's really important to learn from mistakes. Every problem or difficult situation is actually a hidden lesson. When you face difficult times, instead of getting discouraged, think, what can this teach me? Thinking this way turns every mistake into a step toward improvement and helps you be stronger when things are difficult. Being resilient really means practicing Stoic strength. You don't run or get scared of challenges, you face them head-on. Every time you overcome a problem or face a fear, you become stronger and more confident. Keep in mind that being resilient isn't just getting through difficult times. It's about learning to make the best of them. Using resilience every day can look different. It could be doing work you've been putting off or dealing with something big like overcoming a loss. In each situation, think like a Stoic. It's not what happens that's important, but how you handle it. So when you encounter difficult times, face them with confidence, understanding that every difficult situation is an opportunity to improve and strengthen yourself. This is what Stoic strength is about, turning difficult times into strength and problems into paths forward. Stay strong, and you'll notice that your confidence grows more than ever. Being resilient also means accepting things, knowing that life won't always be simple or fair, but understanding that we can get through difficult times. This acceptance isn't about giving up, but about realizing that difficult times are part of life and that we're strong enough to handle them. Additionally, being strong like a Stoic means thinking long-term. Instead of just focusing on today's problems are an opportunity to look ahead and understand how these difficult moments can help you grow and improve later. Being grateful is another excellent way to become more resilient. When you think about what you have instead of what you lack, you can stay positive even when things are difficult. This gratitude helps you see problems differently, as opportunities to learn and improve. Strength becomes stronger with help from others and being part of a community. When you're surrounded by people who support and understand you, it's really helpful during difficult moments. These connections not only make you feel better, but also remind you that you're not facing challenges completely alone. Ultimately, practicing Stoic strength is a commitment to keep growing. It means seeing every experience, whether happy or difficult, as a learning opportunity about yourself and everything around you. This attitude helps you welcome life's ups and downs, trusting that you can handle and succeed despite any obstacle. In summary, Stoic strength is an excellent way to navigate life. It teaches us to face difficult times, learn from them, and use them to grow and become more confident. By being resilient, we not only overcome difficulties, but also become stronger, smarter, and more sure of ourselves. While trying to be confident, it's easy to start acting with too much pride, but true confidence doesn't need to be arrogant. Being humble, which is really important in Stoic philosophy, is one of the best qualities a person can have. As Epictetus mentioned, if you think you know everything, you can't learn anything new. Humility allows you to learn, improve, and truly connect with others. The choice between humility and arrogance isn't choosing between weakness and strength. It's about realizing your own limits and appreciating others' knowledge and value. A humble person knows that no matter how much they know or how skilled they are, there's always something more to learn, always a way to improve. Epictetus tells us that being humble isn't about putting yourself down, but about seeing yourself clearly, understanding both your value and that you're not the most important person in the world. Cultivating humility day by day can be difficult, especially when people care more about how things look than what they really are. Try to listen more and talk less. Respect what others think and accept that you don't always need to be right. When you do something well, give credit to others too. Remember that every person you meet knows things and has experiences that you don't have. When you cultivate your humility, you build your confidence in a stable and lasting way. You become more open, flexible, and curiously, people respect and admire you more. Being truly humble not only makes you a better person, but also improves how you connect with others. So work on being humble. It's the Stoic way toward real and deep confidence. Being humble also means seeing and praising other people's achievements and good points. By doing this, we not only show that we respect them, but also learn to see how each person contributes something different and valuable. This helps us understand the value of how different each person is, and that one person's success doesn't mean less for another. Being humble means admitting that we don't know everything, and that sometimes we need help from others with more experience or knowledge. It's a sign of strength, not weakness. Being open to learning from others and working together makes our relationships and our own growth stronger. Being humble also involves reflecting on our own actions, recognizing when we're wrong, and working to correct things. This is really important for self-improvement. This kind of honest self-evaluation helps build true confidence that comes from understanding our strengths and weaknesses. This includes being grateful for what we have, for our friends and family, and for the opportunities that come our way. It helps us focus on what's really important. This gratitude keeps us connected with other people and with the world, helping us feel like we're part of a bigger group. In summary, being humble is a really important Stoic quality for developing good and lasting confidence. It helps us appreciate ourselves without thinking too much about ourselves, to always learn from others and our environment, and to treat people with respect and honesty. Cultivating humility makes us better people and helps make the world a more supportive, respectful, and connected place. Knowing and living according to your personal beliefs is fundamental for developing authentic confidence. Real and lasting confidence comes from living in a way that matches your most important beliefs. It's not enough to know what you believe, you need to act according to it daily. This means being honest and true to yourself, something Stoics consider very important. Epictetus once said that talking about doing the right thing isn't enough, you have to really do it. Personal values are super important. They're like a compass that helps you choose, act, and shape your life. Think about what values are most important to you, like being honest, loyal, brave, or kind. Identify your main values and commit to living according to them. Living with integrity means that you do and say things that match your beliefs and values. It's difficult to do this, especially when others push you to go against what you believe, but every time you choose to be true to yourself instead of taking the easy path, you feel better about yourself. You prove to yourself that your beliefs are real and important in your life. For your actions to match what you think is right, start with small steps in your daily life. If being honest is important to you, always tell the truth, even when it's difficult. If you care about being kind, try to help others and be kind, even if no one sees it. Doing these small good things regularly helps you become the person you want to be. Don't forget that following your values is a continuous process, not a final goal. You might make mistakes along the way, but what's important is realizing these mistakes and growing from them. When you establish and stick to your own values, you not only become more sure of yourself as you really are, but you also become a role model for others. Staying true to your values is the key to a happy life with purpose and confidence. Living according to your values means being truthful when you talk with people, keeping your promises, and behaving in a way that shows what matters to you. Making what you do match what you believe not only makes you feel inner peace, but also makes others trust you more. Living in line with your values also means being responsible for what you do and what happens as a result. You show your dedication to your values by accepting your mistakes and correcting things. Thinking regularly about your actions is very important. When you take time to think about what you've done and decided, it helps you make sure you're living according to your values. This regular checkup is an excellent way to keep growing and improving. The practice of gratitude stands as a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy and serves as a powerful tool for building self-confidence. Daily gratitude practice isn't just about being thankful for the big things in life, but also about appreciating the small moments and blessings. Marcus Aurelius once said, "When you get up in the morning, think about what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, think, enjoy, and love." Start each day by listing 3 things you're grateful for. It could be something as simple as a sunny day, a good cup of coffee, or a loved one's smile. This practice shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, fostering a positive mindset. Gratitude also involves recognizing others' efforts. Acknowledge the support and kindness you receive, whether from friends, family, or even strangers. Expressing your gratitude toward them strengthens relationships and builds a supportive community around you. Another aspect of gratitude is appreciating the challenges you face. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, see them as opportunities to learn and grow. This perspective not only builds resilience, but also deepens your understanding and appreciation for life's complexities. Learning to see difficulties as gifts rather than burdens transforms your entire relationship with adversity. When you can genuinely feel grateful for the lessons that come through hardship, you develop an unshakable foundation of inner strength. This doesn't mean seeking out suffering, but rather recognizing that every experience, pleasant or unpleasant, contributes to your growth and wisdom. Gratitude practice also extends to appreciating your own efforts and progress. Often, we're our harshest critics, focusing on what we haven't achieved rather than celebrating how far we've come. Taking time to acknowledge your own growth, efforts, and small victories builds a healthy relationship with yourself and reinforces your confidence in your ability to continue improving. The cultivation of curiosity and commitment to lifelong learning represents another fundamental pillar of Stoic confidence. Confidence grows when you expand your knowledge and skills. A Stoic approach to learning isn't just about academic pursuit, it's about being curious about the world and about yourself. Epictetus emphasized the importance of learning when he said that only the educated are free. Commit to learning something new every day. It could be a fact, a skill, or a perspective. This continuous learning keeps your mind active and engaged and helps you adapt to new situations more easily. Curiosity also means being open to different viewpoints. Engage with people who have different experiences and beliefs. This not only broadens your understanding, but also teaches you empathy and respect for diversity. Learning isn't just about accumulating information. It's about developing wisdom. The Stoics distinguished between mere knowledge and practical wisdom. True learning involves understanding how to apply what you know in service of living well. This means studying not just facts and figures, but also human nature, ethics, and the art of living itself. Intellectual humility goes hand in hand with genuine curiosity. The more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know. This realization, rather than being discouraging, should fuel your excitement for continued exploration and growth. The Stoic learner approaches each day with wonder, seeing every interaction and experience as an opportunity to gain insight. Remember that learning is a lifelong journey. There's always something new to discover, and each piece of knowledge adds to your confidence and wisdom. The confidence that comes from continuous learning isn't based on knowing everything. It's based on trusting your ability to learn and adapt to whatever life presents. The integration of these Stoic principles into daily life creates a comprehensive framework for developing unshakable self-confidence. This confidence isn't built on external validation or comparative superiority over others. Instead, it's rooted in self-knowledge, acceptance of reality, focus on what matters, resilience in the face of challenges, humility in success, integrity in action, gratitude for what is, and curiosity about what could be. This approach to confidence is sustainable because it doesn't depend on circumstances beyond your control. Whether you're facing success or failure, praise or criticism, abundance or scarcity, your confidence remains steady because it's anchored in your own character and values rather than external conditions. The Stoic path to confidence is also deeply practical. These aren't abstract philosophical concepts, but concrete practices that can be implemented immediately. Each day presents opportunities to practice self-examination, acceptance, focus, resilience, humility, integrity, gratitude, and learning. The more you practice these principles, the more natural they become, and the stronger your confidence grows. Moreover, this type of confidence contributes to the greater good. When you're confident in this Stoic sense, you're not threatened by others' success or needing to diminish others to feel good about yourself. Instead, you can genuinely celebrate others' achievements, offer authentic support during their struggles, and contribute positively to your community. The journey towards Stoic confidence is ongoing. There's no final destination where you arrive and can stop practicing these principles. Instead, it's a way of life that requires constant attention and effort. But this ongoing nature isn't a burden, it's a gift. It means you always have opportunities to grow, improve, and become more fully yourself. Building self-confidence through Stoicism involves practicing resilience, humility, living according to your personal beliefs, and embracing continuous learning and curiosity. These principles guide you toward a more fulfilling, resilient, and confident life, where challenges are opportunities and every moment is a chance to grow and improve. In conclusion, deciding and following your personal values is very important for true and strong confidence. It guides and gives meaning to your life. By acting according to your values, you improve yourself and make a positive impact on others. This dedication to your values leads to a satisfying and meaningful life full of confidence. The Stoic approach to self-confidence offers something unique in our modern world. A way of being confident that doesn't require putting others down, doesn't depend on external circumstances, and doesn't crumble when faced with adversity. It's a confidence rooted in character, wisdom, and virtue, qualities that can only grow stronger with time and practice. As you embark on or continue this journey, remember that every small step counts. Each moment of self-reflection, each choice to focus on what you can control, each act of resilience in the face of difficulty, each display of humility despite success, each decision to live according to your values, each expression of gratitude, and each new thing you learn contributes to your growing confidence. This confidence isn't just for your own benefit. As you become more grounded in these Stoic principles, you naturally become a source of strength and inspiration for others. Your calm in chaos, your resilience in difficulty, your humility in success, and your integrity in all circumstances creates a positive influence that ripples outward into your community and the world. The ancient Stoics believed that the goal of philosophy wasn't just intellectual understanding, but practical wisdom, learning how to live well. This guide represents that same practical approach to building confidence. It's not enough to understand these concepts intellectually. They must be lived, practiced, and embodied in your daily life. Your confidence, built on this solid Stoic foundation, becomes a gift not just to yourself, but to everyone whose life you touch. This is perhaps the greatest reward of the Stoic path, becoming not just more confident, but more fully human in the best sense of the word. What if I told you that the single most powerful force shaping your entire life isn't the money you make, the talent you have, or even the opportunities you get? It's something much deeper, something hidden that most people never fully grasp. It's your mind. Your thoughts have the power to build you up or tear you down, and in many ways, they determine your destiny. This isn't just a motivational mantra. It's an idea rooted in ancient Stoic philosophy. The Stoics believed that while we can't control what happens to us, we can absolutely control how we respond, and that makes all the difference. Today, we're diving into the secret of mental strength and how mastering your mind can transform every aspect of your life. Whether you're struggling to push through challenges or simply looking to better understand how to navigate life's inevitable ups and downs, the insights from Stoicism offer timeless wisdom that's just as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago. Mental toughness isn't just about grit or determination. It's about cultivating the right mindset, anchored in clear, powerful thoughts, so you can face any obstacle with confidence and clarity. And here's the truth. Some of you reading this right now might feel skeptical. You might think, is it really that simple? Can just changing my thoughts really change my life? I get it, but I encourage you to stick around until the end, because what we're discussing today will challenge your assumptions and hopefully open your mind to the incredible power you already possess. By the time we're finished, you'll understand why mastering your mind is the key to mastering your life. The human brain generates about 70,000 thoughts per day. That's an incredible amount of mental activity, and it's not just random noise. Each thought carries weight, influencing your emotions, decisions, and ultimately the direction of your life. The Stoics knew this well, teaching that it isn't events themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about them. This means that by controlling your thoughts, you are essentially controlling your reactions and your reality. Let's break this down a bit. Think about how a single negative thought early in the morning can affect your entire day. It can set a tone of irritation or sadness that affects every interaction you have and every decision you make. The Stoics would suggest that we have the power to challenge and change that initial thought. For example, if you wake up feeling overwhelmed by the day ahead, instead of letting that feeling spiral, you can remind yourself that you have faced many tough days and survived. This shift in thinking isn't just positive thinking, it's about grounding your thoughts in reality and your own capabilities. This practice is not about suppressing negative thoughts or emotions. Rather, it's about not allowing them to take over. It's about observing them, understanding why they arose, and then deciding how you'll let them influence you. This is where the Stoic concept of the inner citadel comes in. Imagine your mind like a fortified city. Outside the walls, events take place. People say things, life happens. But inside the walls, you are sovereign. You decide which thoughts will enter and which will not. This mental discipline protects you from unnecessary distress and keeps you effective and rational. By practicing control over your thoughts, you also enhance your ability to focus on what truly matters. Stoics emphasize focusing on what is within our control and letting go of what isn't. When you spend less energy fretting about what you can't change, you have more energy to invest in what you can. This doesn't mean you ignore the reality of situations or your feelings about them. It means you approach them from a position of strength and choice. The power of thought is immense, and understanding this gives you a tool not just for personal happiness, but for profound personal transformation. The next time you find yourself caught in a storm of negative thinking, remember the Stoic teaching. It's not the situation that's causing you to suffer, but your thoughts about it. You hold the key to better experiences, a more fulfilling life, and true mental strength, all by mastering the realm of your thoughts. Most people experience adversity at several points throughout their lives, but it's not the adversity itself that defines us. It's how we respond to it. The Stoics regarded adversity as a crucial element of human life, something that tests our character and pushes our limits. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor and philosopher, once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This profound insight reveals that obstacles are not merely hurdles to overcome. They are opportunities for growth and self-improvement. Embracing adversity is about shifting our perspective from seeing difficulties as roadblocks to viewing them as invaluable steps on the path to personal development. When faced with a challenge, Whether it's a professional setback, personal loss, or even a global crisis, our natural instinct might be to retreat or lament our misfortune. However, adopting a Stoic mindset encourages us to ask ourselves, what can this experience teach me? This question transforms the nature of our experience, turning adversity into a classroom. This Stoic approach doesn't minimize the pain or difficulty of tough situations, but instead focuses on extracting value from them. Every challenge you encounter is a chance to practice virtues like patience, resilience, and courage. For instance, losing a job might initially seem like a devastating blow to your career, but it also offers the chance to reassess your path, discover new opportunities, or develop skills that you've been neglecting. Similarly, dealing with difficult people teaches you the virtues of patience and understanding, honing your ability to handle interpersonal conflicts more effectively. Moreover, embracing adversity fuels our growth by pushing us out of our comfort zones. It's comfortable to continue with our habitual patterns and routines, but growth often requires discomfort. Just as muscles need to be stressed to grow stronger, our psychological and emotional muscles need challenges to develop. When you actively embrace adversity, you're not just surviving your circumstances, you're using them as leverage to propel yourself forward. Stoicism teaches that we should not only accept the inevitability of adversity, but actively welcome it as a part of life that enhances our human experience. By doing so, we turn every obstacle into a tool, every setback into a setup for a comeback. The true measure of our character and strength isn't shown by how we enjoy success, but by how we face and use adversity. Self-discipline is often cited as a key attribute of successful people across all fields and endeavors. This is hardly surprising when you consider that self-discipline lies at the core of Stoicism, enabling individuals to live according to their values and pursue a meaningful life regardless of external circumstances. Stoicism doesn't just suggest self-discipline, it demands it as a central practice for those looking to cultivate virtue and wisdom. The Stoic philosophers, from Marcus Aurelius to Epictetus, taught that self-mastery, control over one's reactions, desires, and actions, is the foundation of living a life of purpose and integrity. Self-discipline is essentially about making choices that are aligned with your long-term goals instead of succumbing to short-term gratifications that lead you astray. It's about aligning your actions with your rational decisions, even when emotions or impulses pull you in different directions. This might mean getting up an hour early to meditate, or exercise even when you feel like sleeping in, or choosing a healthy meal over fast food, or even spending an evening working on your project instead of binge-watching a series. Each time you make such a choice, you are exercising self-discipline. But self-discipline in the Stoic sense goes deeper than just resisting temptation or sticking to a schedule. It's about cultivating an inner strength that allows you to remain true to your principles in the face of adversity, distraction, and immediate desires. It's about having the mental fortitude to say no to things that don't serve your ultimate purpose and saying yes to the often harder tasks that do. This requires a constant conscious effort to monitor and control your thoughts and impulses to ensure they are helpful, not harmful. A key aspect of self-discipline is understanding that every small decision contributes to larger life outcomes. Stoics emphasize the importance of vigilance in everyday decisions, recognizing that habits formed in the small moments set the pattern for larger life choices. This idea is similar to training a muscle. Each repetition makes it stronger. In the same way, Each instance of choosing the harder right over the easier wrong strengthens your willpower and your ability to maintain self-discipline in more challenging situations. Furthermore, self-discipline is not just about controlling actions, but also about regulating emotions and thoughts. It involves recognizing negative patterns of thinking and actively transforming them into more constructive ones. This mental aspect of self-discipline is critical because thoughts drive emotions and actions. By controlling the cascade at its source, your thoughts, you can dramatically alter your emotional and behavioral responses. The practice of self-discipline also extends to how we use our time. The Stoics were keenly aware of the finite nature of time and urged us to use it wisely, not wasting it on frivolous activities or unnecessary worries. This perspective makes self-discipline not just a personal growth tool, but also a philosophical stance on the ethical use of one's life and time. Self-discipline, as taught by Stoicism, isn't about self-denial for its own sake. It's about choosing a life that aligns with your values and aspirations. It's about making choices that might be difficult in the moment, but which lead to greater satisfaction, integrity, and fulfillment in the long run. Through self-discipline, we not only improve our lives, but also develop the resilience and strength necessary to face life's inevitable challenges with grace and composure. This kind of discipline ensures that when hardships arise, we can meet them head-on, not as victims of circumstance, but as active, empowered participants in our own lives. Vision is more than just a goal or a dream. It's a profound understanding of what you can achieve regardless of your current circumstances. This concept resonates deeply with Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to differentiate between what we can control and what we cannot, focusing our efforts only on the former. The Stoics understood that while we might not control external events, we can always control our responses and maintain our vision regardless of external pressures. Cultivating a vision beyond circumstance means seeing past your immediate situation and maintaining focus on your longer-term aspirations. This vision acts as a guide, helping you navigate through life's challenges without getting lost in the frustrations of the moment. For the Stoics, this was about living in alignment with virtue and reason, aiming for personal excellence no matter the external situation. For us, it can be about setting personal benchmarks and life goals that align with our deepest values, not just societal expectations or fleeting desires. Maintaining a vision requires clarity and commitment. Clarity involves having a precise understanding of what you want to achieve, why it matters, and how you plan to get there. This might mean defining career aspirations that align with your passions, adopting healthier lifestyle habits that reflect your respect for your body, or nurturing relationships that foster mutual growth and understanding. Commitment is about staying the course even when distractions, obstacles, and setbacks appear. It involves resilience and the ability to adapt your strategies without losing sight of your end goals. Moreover, cultivating a vision beyond circumstance also means being prepared to stand alone at times. The Stoic philosophers often faced adversity from those around them who didn't share their commitment to virtue and reason. Similarly, pursuing a vision that breaks from conventional paths can sometimes lead to isolation or criticism. Here, the Stoic practice of emotional resilience is crucial, helping you to remain undeterred by others' opinions and focused on your inner compass. This vision-driven approach to life doesn't just buffer against the negative impact of bad times, it also enhances the good times by providing a sense of purpose and direction. Each step taken toward your vision adds a layer of meaning and satisfaction to your daily life, making even mundane tasks feel significant. This aligns with the Stoic ideal of purposeful living, where every action is part of a larger narrative of personal growth and contribution to the greater good. In practical terms, cultivating a vision beyond circumstance involves regular reflection and self-assessment. It means revisiting your goals to ensure they still resonate with your values and adjusting them as you grow and learn. It also involves cultivating a mindset of perseverance and flexibility, allowing you to keep pushing forward even when progress seems slow or invisible. Your vision is your roadmap through life. It's more than just a set of goals. It's a manifestation of your values, your dreams, and your character. By aligning your daily actions with this broader vision, you ensure that no matter what circumstances you face, you are building a life of meaning and purpose. This Stoic approach doesn't just help us to survive the challenges we face, it allows us to thrive, turning every obstacle into a stepping stone on the path to fulfilling our true potential. This is not just about enduring tough times, it's about using these experiences as catalysts for personal growth and resilience. This idea is central to Stoicism, which teaches that obstacles are opportunities in disguise. The Stoics believe that we develop our character and strength not during easy times, but through the challenges we face and overcome. This philosophical approach transforms the way we perceive adversity, encouraging us not only to endure, but to thrive through difficulties. The first step in overcoming challenges with mental strength is to adopt a Stoic mindset. View each challenge as a test of your virtues, such as wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. For example, a professional setback can be a test of your wisdom. Can you learn from this experience? It can also challenge your courage. Will you give up, or will you persevere? By reframing challenges in this way, you're not just passively enduring them, you're actively engaging with them, extracting valuable lessons and fortifying your character. Another key aspect is maintaining a sense of control over your responses. While we cannot control all external events, we can control how we respond to them. This sense of agency is empowering and is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. When faced with adversity, instead of reacting impulsively or despairingly, a Stoic-inspired approach involves pausing, reflecting, and choosing a response that aligns with your values and goals. This might mean taking a deliberate break to gather your thoughts, seeking advice from trusted mentors, or simply choosing to remain optimistic and motivated despite the odds. Moreover, overcoming challenges with mental strength involves the practice of resilience. Resilience is not just about bouncing back, it's about growing stronger through adversity. This growth is similar to how muscles strengthen through repeated exertion and recovery. Each challenge you overcome not only tests your mental and emotional limits, but also expands them. You learn more about your capabilities, your limits, and how to push them responsibly. This learning and growth foster a deeper self-confidence, knowing that you have faced adversity before and emerged stronger. Practically, this means not shying away from challenges or wishing for an easier life, but embracing the tough parts as integral to your development. It's about making a conscious decision to stand firm in the face of adversity, using your Stoic principles as a guide. When challenges arise, remind yourself of times you have overcome in the past and draw strength from those experiences. Visualize yourself handling the current challenge with competence and composure, and then take the necessary steps to make that visualization a reality. Building resilience is essential for navigating the ups and downs of life effectively. It's not just about bouncing back from setbacks. It's about learning, growing, and becoming stronger from each experience. Stoicism offers a wealth of practical advice on developing resilience, emphasizing the importance of perception, action, and will. The Stoics teach us that it's not the events themselves that upset us, but our judgments about those events. This insight is foundational for building resilience. To start, one practical tip for building resilience is to work on reframing your perceptions. When you encounter a challenge, try to view it through a lens of growth and opportunity. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? Or, how can this make me stronger? This doesn't mean ignoring your emotions or pretending everything is fine. Instead, it's about acknowledging your feelings, choosing to focus on the aspects of the situation that you can control and that contribute to your growth. Another key strategy is to maintain a routine that supports your mental and physical health. The Stoics were big proponents of living in harmony with nature, which included taking care of the body and mind. Regular exercise, a healthy diet, and sufficient sleep are not just good for physical health. They also enhance your psychological resilience by reducing stress, improving mood, and increasing energy levels. Additionally, incorporating daily or weekly practices like meditation, journaling, or reading philosophy can help maintain a calm and focused mind, preparing you for whatever challenges may arise. Furthermore, building resilience involves setting clear and achievable goals. This practice keeps you motivated and moving forward even when obstacles appear. Goals give you a sense of purpose and direction, acting as a compass during times of confusion or distress. They break down overwhelming challenges into manageable steps, making it easier to see progress and maintain hope. A Stoic might suggest setting goals around virtues you want to develop, like patience, courage, or wisdom, rather than external outcomes, ensuring that your goals contribute to personal growth and are within your control. Engaging with a supportive community is also crucial for building resilience. Stoicism teaches the importance of mutual support and empathy within the community. Surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you, who can provide advice and perspective when you're struggling. This network can be a source of strength and resilience, reminding you that you're not alone in your journey. Sharing your experiences with others and listening to theirs can provide comfort, insights, and new strategies for dealing with life's challenges. Lastly, practicing gratitude is a powerful tool for resilience. By focusing on what you are thankful for, you shift your attention away from what you lack or what has gone wrong. This shift can dramatically improve your mental state, reducing anxiety and depression and enhancing well-being. Each day, take a moment to reflect on a few things you are grateful for, whether it's a sunny day, a good friend, or a lesson learned from a recent challenge. This habit aligns well with Stoic practices as it encourages you to value and appreciate the good in your life even during tough times. The journey of mastering your mind through Stoic principles is not a destination, but a continuous process of growth and refinement. Every day presents new opportunities to practice these timeless teachings, to strengthen your mental fortitude, and to align your actions with your deepest values. The beauty of Stoic philosophy lies not in its complexity, but in its practical simplicity. The recognition that while we cannot control the world around us, we have complete dominion over our responses to it. As you continue to develop your mental strength, remember that setbacks are not failures, but opportunities for deeper learning. Each challenge you face becomes a teacher, each obstacle a chance to practice virtue. and each difficult moment a step toward greater resilience. The Stoics understood that the path to wisdom and strength is not paved with comfort and ease, but with the conscious choice to respond to life's trials with courage, wisdom, and integrity. Your thoughts truly are the architects of your destiny. By taking conscious control of your mental landscape, by choosing your responses rather than simply reacting, and by maintaining a vision that transcends immediate circumstances, you tap into a power that can transform not just your own life, but potentially inspire and uplift others around you. This is the legacy of Stoic philosophy, not just personal improvement, but the cultivation of character that contributes to the greater good. The ancient Stoics faced wars, political upheaval, personal losses, and all manner of adversity, yet they found ways to maintain their philosophical center and live according to their principles. Their example shows us that mental strength is not about avoiding difficulties, but about meeting them with the right mindset. It's about understanding that every experience, pleasant or unpleasant, offers something valuable if we approach it with the right perspective. As you move forward on this journey of mental mastery, carry with you the knowledge that you possess within yourself all the tools necessary for a life of purpose, resilience, and fulfillment. The external world will continue to present its challenges, but you now have the philosophical framework to meet them with strength and wisdom. Your mind, properly trained and disciplined according to Stoic principles, becomes your greatest ally in creating the life you envision and deserve. Remember, every challenge is not just a barrier, but a pathway to deeper strength and wisdom. The path of mental mastery is one of the most rewarding journeys you can undertake, for it leads not just to personal success, but to a life lived with authentic virtue and unshakable inner peace. Continue to cultivate this strength, continue to practice these principles, and continue to remember that in mastering your mind, you master your destiny. Have you ever wondered what it feels like to walk into a room and immediately become the center of attention, not because of dramatic gestures or loud proclamations, but simply through the power of your presence? Have you ever yearned to be valued more deeply, to be recognized with the genuine respect you deserve, to command attention not through desperation, but through authentic magnetism? If your answer is yes, you are certainly not alone in this universal human desire for recognition and respect. In today's fast-paced, often superficial society, many of us feel profoundly undervalued and frequently overlooked, as if our contributions and very existence fade into the background noise of daily life. We find ourselves competing for attention in an increasingly crowded world, where genuine connection seems elusive and authentic recognition feels like a distant dream. However, this feeling of invisibility and underappreciation is not a permanent fate that you must passively accept. It is not a life sentence handed down by circumstances beyond your control. Today, we embark on a transformative journey together, one filled with both promise and meaningful challenge. This journey will teach us to harness the invaluable lessons from ancient Stoic philosophy to build an unshakable sense of self and develop an undeniable presence that draws others naturally toward us. This is not about seeking attention for its own sake or manipulating others into noticing us. Rather, it is about cultivating sustainable thoughts, behaviors, and character traits that make you not only highly regarded by others, but also genuinely stronger and more resilient from within. The path we will explore together involves 10 core strategies that have withstood the test of time, proven effective across centuries and cultures. These principles have guided countless individuals toward developing the kind of presence that naturally commands respect and admiration. We will journey through these time-tested approaches that can fundamentally change how others perceive you. But more importantly, we will discover how these strategies transform how you perceive and value yourself. This transformation begins with understanding that true presence and magnetism cannot be manufactured or forced. They emerge naturally from a deep well of self-knowledge, inner strength, and authentic character development. The Stoic philosophers understood this fundamental truth thousands of years ago, recognizing that external validation and superficial charm are poor substitutes for genuine character and inner peace. The ancient Stoics believed that the quality of our thoughts determines the quality of our lives, and this principle extends directly to how we show up in the world. When we cultivate wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance within ourselves, these virtues naturally radiate outward, creating an authentic magnetism that draws others toward us. This is not manipulation or performance. It is the natural result of becoming the best version of ourselves. Throughout this exploration, we will discover that building presence is not about creating fleeting moments of attention or temporary impressions. Instead, it is about developing a powerful, sustainable way of being that leaves lasting impressions on people's minds and hearts. It is about becoming someone whose very existence enriches the lives of those around them, someone whose absence is felt as keenly as their presence is appreciated. The journey toward developing this kind of presence requires commitment, patience, and consistent effort. It demands that we look honestly at ourselves, acknowledge our weaknesses, and commit to continuous growth and improvement. This process is not always comfortable, as it requires us to step outside our comfort zones and challenge long-held beliefs about ourselves and our capabilities. However, the rewards of this journey extend far beyond the recognition and respect we receive from others. As we develop these qualities within ourselves, we discover a deep sense of fulfillment, purpose, and inner peace that no external validation can provide. We become individuals who are not dependent on others' opinions for our sense of worth, yet, paradoxically, this independence makes us more attractive and valuable to those around us. The first fundamental principle in building unshakable presence involves learning to take exceptional care of yourself, understanding that those who do not know how to love themselves cannot authentically love others. Self-care is not selfishness. It is a prerequisite for being able to genuinely contribute to others' lives. The better you take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, the better equipped you become to support, inspire, and uplift those around you. This principle of self-care is not merely advice for comfortable living, but a fundamental requirement for living a truly satisfying and meaningful life. Taking care of oneself requires deep self-awareness, which means taking the time to genuinely understand yourself from your most basic physical needs to the deepest desires and aspirations of your soul. When you develop this level of self-understanding, you can begin nurturing and developing yourself with clear purpose and direction. Physical self-care forms the foundation of all other aspects of personal development. This means maintaining a genuinely healthy lifestyle that includes balanced, nutritious eating habits, regular physical exercise that challenges and strengthens your body, and sufficient quality sleep that allows your body and mind to recover and regenerate. When your physical body is well cared for, you not only feel healthier and more energetic, but you also naturally exude an attractive vitality that draws others to appreciate and value your presence. Mental and emotional self-care requires regularly recharging your psychological and spiritual resources. This can be accomplished through diverse activities, such as reading books that challenge and expand your thinking, practicing meditation or mindfulness to develop inner peace and clarity, or dedicating time to personal hobbies and interests that bring you joy and fulfillment. When your mind and spirit are properly nourished, you become naturally confident and peaceful, creating an irresistible charm that makes others want to be around you. Self-care also involves setting healthy boundaries in your relationships and commitments, learning to say no to demands that drain your energy without providing meaningful value, and prioritizing activities and relationships that align with your values and support your growth. This boundary setting is not selfish, but essential for maintaining the emotional and mental resources necessary to show up fully in your important relationships and responsibilities. Remember that self-care is an ongoing journey that never truly ends, not a destination you reach and then maintain without effort. As Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosopher-emperors, wisely observed, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." When you continually invest in yourself across all dimensions of your well-being, you not only dramatically improve the quality of your own life, but also become a source of inspiration and positive energy for those around you. This is precisely how you make others naturally appreciate and deeply value your presence without having to beg for attention or recognition. The second crucial strategy involves cultivating calmness and composure, especially during challenging and high-pressure situations. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, once advised that the greatest remedy for anger is delay. This seemingly simple advice contains immense power for guiding us through difficult circumstances with grace and wisdom. In today's context, where every minute brings the potential for emotional turbulence and reactive responses, nurturing calmness and self-control becomes more important than ever before. We live in a world that seems designed to trigger immediate reactions, where social media, news cycles, and daily stresses constantly test our emotional equilibrium. Developing the ability to remain calm and composed in the face of these challenges sets you apart from the crowd and naturally draws others' respect and admiration. Imagine a particularly stressful workday where you walk into a meeting that has already started, and you are greeted with unfriendly looks from colleagues who are clearly frustrated about the delay. In such a moment, your natural instinct might urge you to react defensively, to make excuses, or to respond with your own frustration and irritation. However, if you choose instead to remain calm, take a deep breath and allow yourself a moment of silence to think clearly before responding, you can completely transform the dynamic of the situation. Your subsequent response, delivered with composure and thoughtfulness, not only helps alleviate the tension in the room, but also earns genuine admiration from those present for your ability to remain poised under pressure. This kind of emotional regulation and self-control demonstrates a level of maturity and wisdom that people instinctively respect and value. The practice of cultivating calmness extends beyond reactive situations to encompass a general approach to life that embraces silence and reflection as sources of strength rather than emptiness. When we learn to embrace comfortable silence, we open up space for deep self-reflection and profound understanding of ourselves and the world around us. This inner stillness becomes a wellspring of wisdom that others can sense and are naturally drawn toward. Nurturing calmness and self-control is not merely a component of personal improvement, but also a pathway for connecting with timeless spiritual and philosophical values. It represents the art of living consciously and the secret to earning genuine respect and affection from others. When you demonstrate calmness in the midst of chaos and storms, you are not only adhering to a philosophy that has guided humanity for thousands of years, but also opening the door to deep respect and admiration from those around you. This quality of inner peace and emotional stability becomes particularly powerful when others are experiencing their own emotional turbulence. Your calmness serves as an anchor point, a source of stability that others can rely on when their own emotional waters are rough. This reliability and consistency make you invaluable to those around you and naturally increase the respect and appreciation they feel for your presence in their lives. The third essential strategy focuses on properly valuing your time, recognizing it as the most precious and irreplaceable resource you possess. Time is an intangible asset that, once lost, can never be regained or recovered. However, when you learn to properly value and manage your time, you not only become more self-directed and purposeful in every decision you make, but you also naturally attract appreciation and honor from those around you. Imagine reaching a point where you become a true master of time management, where every hour of your day is allocated with intention and purpose. People will not only admire your efficiency and effectiveness, but they will actively seek opportunities to spend time with you, to learn from your example, and to benefit from your focused attention. This transformation is not merely a hopeful promise, but an inevitable result when you apply Stoic principles to your relationship with time. The Stoics understood that time is the one resource that is equally distributed to all people. Yet how we choose to use this resource makes all the difference in the quality and impact of our lives. They recognize that every moment presents a choice. We can either waste time on trivial pursuits and reactive behaviors, or we can invest our time in activities that align with our values and contribute to our growth and the well-being of others. When you demonstrate that you value your time highly, others naturally begin to value it as well. This creates a positive cycle where the respect you show for your own time generates respect from others for both your time and your judgment. People begin to see that if they want to engage with you, they need to bring something meaningful to the interaction, which naturally filters out superficial or draining encounters and attracts more substantial, mutually beneficial relationships. Valuing your time also means being selective about your commitments and learning to say no to requests that do not align with your priorities or values. This selectivity is not arrogance but wisdom, as it ensures that you can give your best effort and attention to the commitments you do make. When people know that your yes means something significant, they value your agreement and participation more highly. This principle extends to how you structure your daily routine and long-term goals. When you have a clear vision of what you want to accomplish and organize your time accordingly, you move through life with purpose and direction that others find inspiring and attractive. Your focused approach to time management becomes a model that others aspire to emulate, making you a natural leader and source of guidance. The fourth strategy involves practicing active listening, which is perhaps one of the most undervalued yet powerful skills for building genuine connections and earning respect. In a world where everyone seems eager to speak and few are willing to truly listen, the person who masters the art of active listening becomes extraordinarily valuable and magnetic to others. Consider a scenario where you are in a conversation with a friend who is sharing a personal struggle or challenging situation. Instead of glancing at your phone, thinking about your own response, or waiting for your turn to speak, You choose to remain completely present and fully focused on what they are saying. You listen not just to their words, but to the emotions behind those words, occasionally asking thoughtful questions that demonstrate you are not merely hearing, but truly understanding the weight and significance of what they are sharing. The result of this kind of deep, attentive listening is profound. You not only help your friend feel genuinely heard and understood, but you also establish a connection that goes far beyond surface-level interaction. In that moment, you become a safe harbor for their thoughts and feelings, a trusted confidant who can be relied upon for genuine understanding and support. Active listening is not merely a social skill, it is an essential component of becoming a fulfilled and emotionally intelligent human being. In alignment with Stoic principles, it represents an approach to every conversation as an opportunity to learn something new, not just about others, but also about yourself and the human condition in general. When you truly listen to others, you are practicing humility and demonstrating a willingness to open yourself to different experiences, perspectives, and emotions. This openness creates space for genuine learning and growth that benefits both you and the person you are listening to. The act of listening deeply requires setting aside your own ego and agenda to make space for someone else's truth and experience. To practice active listening consciously and effectively, you must first master your own emotions and internal dialogue. When you enter a conversation, remind yourself that your primary goal is to understand the other person, not to formulate your response or to prove your own knowledge or wisdom. This shift in intention immediately changes the quality of your attention and the depth of connection you can create. Throughout history, philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca emphasized the crucial importance of listening, not just to others, but also to oneself. They understood that listening is an integral part of living a moral and meaningful life. When you listen deeply, you are not merely receiving information, you are expanding your mind and heart to embrace the full richness of human experience that every conversation and interaction offers. The fifth strategy emphasizes embracing lifelong learning as a fundamental approach to existence. Seneca reminds us with timeless wisdom that, as long as you live, keep learning how to live. This profound insight underscores the critical importance of continuous self-improvement and adaptation throughout our entire lives. In the journey of self-discipline and personal betterment, embracing a lifelong spirit of learning is not merely good advice, but a foundational principle for living a life that naturally attracts appreciation and honor from those around us. When we commit to never-ending learning and growth, we not only enhance our knowledge and capabilities, but also cultivate a profound understanding of the world and humanity that makes us increasingly valuable to others. This commitment to continuous learning helps us adjust our behavior and attitudes to be more harmonious with both natural principles and social dynamics. It increases our value in the eyes of others while simultaneously deepening our own sense of purpose and fulfillment. The process of learning and growing never truly ends. Each day presents new opportunities to expand our understanding and develop our character. The noble pursuit of education and the art of sharing knowledge play crucial roles in this process. By generously sharing our knowledge and experiences with others, we not only contribute to their growth and development, but also affirm our own worth and value. Each lesson taught, each insight shared, each story told becomes a testament to our deep understanding and thoughtful engagement with life. However, lifelong learning encompasses much more than simply accumulating facts or information. It is fundamentally a process of character development that cultivates patience, gratitude, acceptance, and wisdom. When faced with failures and difficulties, those who adhere to Stoic philosophy learn to perceive challenges from multiple perspectives, transforming every obstacle into an opportunity for growth and deeper understanding. This approach to learning extends beyond formal education or professional development to include emotional intelligence, spiritual growth, and practical wisdom. It involves learning how to manage relationships more effectively, how to handle stress and adversity with grace, how to find meaning and purpose in daily activities, and how to contribute positively to the lives of others. By embracing the noble duty of education and committing to a lifetime of learning, we not only become more valuable and interesting to those around us, but also create positive ripple effects that extend far beyond our immediate circle of influence. This makes others not only appreciate our presence, but actively seek our guidance and wisdom in their own lives. The process of becoming valuable in the eyes of others does not come from demonstrating power, authority, or superiority over others. Instead, it emerges from expanding our souls, sharing knowledge and understanding, and nurturing genuine respect and affection through our commitment to growth and service. This is not a quick or easy process. It requires perseverance, courage to face fears and failures, and a strong desire to become better every single day. The sixth strategy involves embracing authenticity as the foundation for all meaningful relationships and genuine respect. Authenticity represents perhaps the most powerful asset you can possess in building lasting connections and natural magnetism. As Epictetus wisely counseled, if you wish to be a writer, write. This principle extends to all aspects of life. If you wish to be authentic, you must consistently act in ways that reflect who you truly are at your core. Authenticity is not merely a strategy for gaining approval or recognition. It is a fundamental way of living that helps us value ourselves appropriately while inspiring others to appreciate our genuine worth. When we live authentically, we create space for real connections based on truth rather than performance or pretense. Consider the story of an artist who spent years creating work designed to appeal to market trends and popular demand rather than expressing their genuine creative vision. While this approach brought financial success, it also brought a deep sense of emptiness and disconnection from their true creative spirit. Eventually, this artist made the courageous decision to focus on personal projects that reflected their unique style and authentic creative perspective. Initially, there was fear that the public would not accept this more personal and vulnerable expression of creativity. However, the opposite occurred. The authentic work began to garner significant attention and respect from both peers and audiences, with many praising the freshness and genuine emotion that emerged when the artist stopped trying to be what others wanted and started being who they truly were. This transformation illustrates the profound power of authenticity in all areas of life. When we dare to live true to ourselves, we naturally attract like-minded individuals and create deep, lasting impressions on everyone we encounter. Authenticity not only reveals our true essence, but also allows us to connect on a much deeper level with those around us, creating an environment where appreciation and respect are given freely and genuinely. In a world where truth is often undervalued and superficiality is readily accepted, authenticity becomes your most valuable and distinguishing asset. It not only makes you unique and irreplaceable, but also naturally makes others drawn to your presence and eager to share in your perspective and experiences. By embracing and consistently expressing your authenticity, you convey a powerful message about personal worth and dignity that extends far beyond yourself. You contribute to creating a better world where everyone is respected and valued for their true selves rather than for their ability to conform to external expectations or social pressures. The seventh strategy focuses on maintaining a sense of mystery, which involves understanding that within each of us lies something deep and private that should not be easily shared with everyone we encounter. When we keep certain aspects of ourselves reserved and protected, we not only preserve our intrinsic value, but also naturally evoke curiosity and create an irresistible allure that enhances our worth in others' eyes. This principle does not advocate for deception or manipulation, but rather for the wisdom of discretion and the power of selective sharing. When we encounter a new person, their gentle mystery often arouses curiosity and a natural desire to explore and understand them more deeply. This is not only a social phenomenon, but also a fundamental aspect of human nature, our profound thirst for discovery and understanding that is stimulated by the unknown. This concept forms an important foundation of Stoic philosophy, representing a process that not only enhances personal value in others' perception, but also creates genuine intrigue and magnetism. When you think of yourself as an open book, where each page contains fresh lessons and insights, natural curiosity leads others into your journey of discovery, transforming every conversation into an exciting adventure of mutual exploration. You become not just a storyteller, but a source of ongoing inspiration, prompting others to wonder what else they might learn from spending time with you. This dynamic creates a natural desire for continued interaction and deeper relationship, as people are drawn to the promise of further discovery and understanding. Maintaining an appropriate sense of mystery is about sharing yourself gradually and thoughtfully, allowing relationships to develop naturally through increasing levels of trust and intimacy. It involves being genuine and authentic, while also being selective about what you reveal and when you reveal it. This approach to self-revelation creates anticipation and appreciation for the insights and experiences you choose to share. When people know that your stories, thoughts, and perspectives are not freely given to everyone, they value them more highly when they are shared with them. This selectivity makes your openness feel like a gift rather than an expectation. The practice of maintaining mystery also involves developing depth and complexity within yourself that gives you interesting things to reveal over time. This means pursuing diverse interests, reflecting deeply on your experiences, and developing unique perspectives that make you genuinely fascinating to others. The eighth strategy emphasizes practicing discretion in what you choose to share about yourself and your life. In today's world of social media and constant connectivity, we are often encouraged to broadcast every detail of our personal lives, from major achievements to minor daily grievances. However, there is immense value in carefully choosing what we share and with whom we share it. This practice of discretion is not about being secretive or deceptive, but rather about respecting yourself and safeguarding your mental and emotional space. It represents a form of self-protection that maintains your dignity and preserves your energy for meaningful interactions and relationships. Consider the example of a successful entrepreneur who faced a crucial decision about whether to publicly announce an upcoming project. Operating in a highly competitive market where information represented a valuable asset, this person had to weigh the potential benefits of publicity against the risks of revealing too much too soon. Instead of sharing every detail of the project with the public, the entrepreneur chose to practice discretion, sharing information only with a small group of trusted partners and team members. This careful approach allowed the project to be developed and launched without interference or imitation from competitors, creating a significant competitive advantage while also demonstrating wisdom and strategic thinking. The practice of discretion extends beyond business decisions to encompass all aspects of personal sharing. With every piece of information you consider sharing, it is wise to ask yourself whether this information serves your long-term interests and whether it can build trust and respect from others. If the answer is uncertain, it may be time to keep that information private. Discretion is fundamentally a form of strength and self-respect. Through thoughtful restraint in what we share, we not only protect ourselves from unnecessary risks and potential exploitation, but also build a strong personal image that makes others naturally inclined to respect our judgment and value our perspectives. This quality of thoughtful sharing demonstrates not only wisdom, but also genuine self-respect, characteristics that naturally garner attention, admiration, and even desire for your presence and insight from others. When people see that you are selective about what you share, they value what you do choose to reveal more highly, creating deeper appreciation for your trust and openness. The ninth strategy involves embracing the art of receiving, which represents a sophisticated understanding of human interdependence and the natural flow of giving and taking that characterizes healthy relationships and communities. Learning to receive gracefully has the potential to enrich our spiritual and communal lives while contributing to a culture of generosity, solidarity, and mutual support. This principle rests on several foundational concepts that are central to Stoic philosophy. First is acknowledging our natural interdependence and connection to others, recognizing that complete self-sufficiency and arrogance can isolate us from the rich tapestry of community support and mutual aid that makes life meaningful and sustainable. Second is cultivating genuine gratitude through accepting what others offer us. By gracefully receiving help, gifts, and support from others, we nurture a grateful heart that recognizes the generosity of those around us and the many blessings that come our way, whether they are material, emotional, or spiritual in nature. Third is nurturing authentic humility through the practice of receiving. This process teaches us that we are not omnipotent or completely self-reliant, and that wisdom lies in acknowledging our weaknesses, limitations, and genuine needs. This humility makes us more relatable and trustworthy to others. Fourth is enhancing community bonds through our willingness to receive from others. When we open ourselves to accepting help and support from those around us, we strengthen the fabric of our relationships and communities, demonstrating that everyone can freely express their needs and vulnerabilities without shame or judgment. Fifth is encouraging generosity in others through our graceful acceptance of what they offer. In a beautiful cycle of mutual support, accepting gifts and help gracefully encourages others to open their hearts to giving, creating an environment where generosity flourishes and everyone benefits from increased connection and support. To truly embrace the art of receiving, you can begin with small daily practices that gradually build your comfort and skill in this area. Acknowledge compliments with a simple, genuine thank you, recognizing and appreciating the giver's positive intentions rather than deflecting or minimizing their words. Seek help when you genuinely need it, viewing these requests not as signs of weakness, but as opportunities to deepen connections with others and allow them to contribute meaningfully to your life. Accept constructive criticism with an open heart, seeing it as a valuable gift for personal growth rather than a personal attack or rejection. The 10th and final strategy focuses on fostering resilience and endurance, which represent perhaps the most attractive and magnetic qualities a person can develop. Stoic philosophy teaches us the fundamental wisdom of distinguishing between what is within our control and what lies beyond our influence, and this distinction forms the foundation of true resilience. Resilience begins with accepting that many external factors, including other people's opinions, actions, and the unpredictable events of life, are simply beyond our direct control or influence. This acceptance is not a form of resignation or passive surrender, but rather a strong strategic stance that directs our energy and effort toward the areas where we can actually make a difference: our own actions, thoughts, and reactions. When you embody this principle consistently, you naturally exude a calm confidence and inner strength that draws people toward you like a magnet. Others see you not as someone who is easily swayed by external circumstances or emotional turbulence, but as a steadfast presence who remains stable and reliable even in the midst of chaos and uncertainty. True resilience is developed through repeatedly facing obstacles and persisting through discomfort, difficulty, and setbacks. It involves viewing challenges not as insurmountable walls or personal failures, but as valuable opportunities for growth, learning, and character development. This perspective transforms our entire relationship with adversity and difficulty. Stoic exercises such as voluntary hardship and systematic reflection on adversity are not merely theoretical concepts, but practical tools designed to strengthen mental fortitude and emotional resilience. These practices help us build the psychological muscles we need to handle whatever life throws our way with grace and wisdom. When you share your stories of perseverance and overcoming obstacles, you naturally inspire others and become a beacon of hope and evidence of the indomitable human spirit. People are naturally drawn to those who exhibit resilience and strength, seeing them as valuable companions, natural leaders, and trusted friends who can be relied upon during their own difficult times. Stoicism brings a unique perspective that sees difficulties not merely as burdens to be endured, but as essential means for personal development and character building. This fundamental shift in perspective transforms our entire outlook on life's challenges. What once seemed like insurmountable mountains now become manageable stepping stones on our path to growth and wisdom. As you develop and demonstrate these qualities of resilience and endurance, others will naturally begin to seek your advice, support, and presence. They are drawn not only to the strength you display, but also to the hope and possibility you represent, a vision that transforms adversity into advantage and obstacles into opportunities. This transformation in how others perceive and value you is not about manipulation or creating a false image, but about becoming the kind of person who genuinely enriches the lives of everyone they encounter. It is about developing character qualities that make you not only admirable, but also genuinely helpful and inspiring to others. The journey toward building this kind of unshakable presence and natural magnetism requires consistent effort, patience, and commitment to continuous growth. It is not a destination you reach once and then maintain without ongoing effort, but rather a way of being that requires daily attention and practice. However, the rewards of this journey extend far beyond the recognition and respect you receive from others. As you develop these qualities within yourself, you discover a deep sense of fulfillment, purpose, and inner peace that no external validation can provide or take away. You become someone who is not dependent on others' opinions for your sense of worth, yet paradoxically, This independence makes you more attractive and valuable to those around you. Remember that everyone's journey toward developing presence and magnetism is unique and personal. The specific ways these principles manifest in your life will depend on your individual circumstances, personality, and goals. The key is to remain committed to the process of growth and development, trusting that consistent effort in the right direction will yield meaningful results over time. As we conclude this comprehensive exploration of building unshakable presence through Stoic principles, remember that these are not merely techniques to be applied superficially, but fundamental ways of being that require integration into your core identity and daily practices. The goal is not to become someone different from who you are, but to become the best, most authentic, and most resilient version of yourself. Every interaction you have, every challenge you face, and every choice you make presents an opportunity to practice these principles and strengthen your character. The presence and magnetism you develop through this process will be genuine and sustainable because it emerges from real inner strength and authentic character development rather than superficial manipulation or performance. Keep moving forward on this journey with patience and persistence, remembering that the goal is not perfection, but progress. Each step you take toward embodying these Stoic principles makes you more valuable not only to others, but to yourself, creating a positive cycle of growth, contribution, and fulfillment that enriches every aspect of your life. Of Stoicism. Before we go any further, I would truly appreciate it if you could give this video a like. It helps the message reach more people who might benefit from it. And if you don't want to miss any of my future content, be sure to subscribe and activate the notification bell. Let's begin with the first key, ataraxia. Ataraxia represents inner peace, a state of serene calmness. The Stoics regarded it as one of the highest forms of happiness. The term, originally Greek, is often translated as tranquility or imperturbability. To the Stoics, true happiness could never be found in fleeting pleasures or in the approval of others. Instead, it lives in the quiet peace of a well-ordered mind. Ataraxia comes from accepting life as it is, without the constant need for things to be different than they are. It's the understanding that while we cannot control external events, we have absolute power over our interpretation and response to them. When we release ourselves from the grip of unrealistic expectations and embrace the present moment for what it is, we begin to experience true peace. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them." This insight reminds us that our emotional stability and inner harmony depend not on what happens to us, but on how we choose to interpret those happenings. By cultivating ataraxia, we stop wasting energy on what we can't control and start directing our focus to what genuinely matters, our own personal growth and inner development. Now we move on to the second Stoic key, amor fati, which means to love one's fate. Amor fati is more than acceptance. It's the act of embracing everything that life hands us, both the joyful and the painful. Rather than resisting hardships or mourning the misfortunes that cross our path, Stoicism teaches us to see these experiences as essential parts of our journey. Amor fati is about perceiving every moment, no matter how challenging, as meaningful and necessary for our evolution. It is about recognizing that each twist in the road is a step toward becoming the person we are meant to be. The Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully when he wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you, woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs?" This reflection tells us that everything we encounter is designed to teach us, shape us, and prepare us for what's next. By practicing amor fati, we stop fighting life and instead flow with it. We gain a deeper appreciation for the lessons in our difficulties, and we become stronger, wiser, and more grounded as a result. This mindset shift empowers us to stay focused on our inner journey instead of becoming stuck in resistance or bitterness. Let's continue with the third key, prosoche, the art of mindfulness. Prosoche is the practice of paying close attention to the present moment. It's about being deeply aware of our actions, thoughts, and emotions as they happen, without casting judgment or letting ourselves be swept away. The Stoics emphasized that the present is the only place where we have real influence. We can't control the past, and the future is uncertain. But here, now, in this moment, we have full power over how we act, how we think, and how we respond. Practicing prosoche means living consciously. It's choosing not to be distracted by what might be or what has been, but instead devoting ourselves fully to doing what is right now. Epictetus, once again, provides insight with his words. Don't seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish for them to happen as they do, and you will go on well. This is a gentle but firm reminder to release our grip on control and trust the flow of reality, focusing instead on how we engage with the world moment by moment. When we embrace prosoche, we begin to notice how often our attention drifts. We start catching ourselves when our mind races ahead to worries about tomorrow or lingers in regrets from yesterday. In returning our focus to the present, we bring ourselves back to power. We step into clarity, and that clarity helps us turn inward, refine our intentions, and live in alignment with our true values. Mindfulness, in this Stoic sense, is not simply about awareness. It is about wise awareness, the kind that transforms how we live our lives. Finally, we arrive at the fourth key, eudaimonia, what the Stoics referred to as the good life. Eudaimonia isn't about fleeting pleasure, status, or material wealth. It's about something far deeper and more lasting. To the Stoics, the good life was one rooted in virtue, wisdom, and purpose. It meant living in alignment with nature, not just the external world, but our inner nature as rational, ethical beings. Eudaimonia is a life guided by integrity, where our thoughts, actions, and values are in harmony. True happiness, according to the Stoic worldview, is not found in chasing after things that constantly shift and fade. It is found in the commitment to be a good person, to do good work, and to contribute meaningfully to the world around us. Living in this way brings a sense of deep fulfillment that no amount of wealth or pleasure can provide. It's about waking up each day with a clear conscience and a heart focused on what truly matters. As we continue this journey through the Stoic keys, remember that each of these principles is not just a concept, it's a practice, a daily exercise in how we live, how we think, and how we respond to life. Stay with me, because there is so much more Stoic wisdom to come. Let's keep exploring this philosophy together. To the Stoics, living in harmony with nature means living virtuously. It involves understanding that our true happiness and inner fulfillment do not come from external circumstances, but rather from our own actions, decisions, and moral character. As Seneca, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, put it, It is not the man who has little who is poor, but the one who always wants more. This profound statement reminds us that genuine wealth and contentment are found not in material possessions, but in the strength and virtue of our character. This idea forms the foundation of eudaimonia, a concept central to Stoic thought. Eudaimonia refers to human flourishing and the pursuit of a life of meaning and virtue. When you focus on personal growth, strive for virtue, and live with intention, you begin to discover lasting fulfillment and a deeper sense of peace. Memento mori, remember that you will die. The fifth Stoic principle is memento mori, a Latin phrase that means remember that you will die. This powerful concept is not meant to invoke fear, but rather to awaken us to the fragility of life and to inspire intentional action. Reflecting on our mortality reminds us that life is finite, and because of this, every single day becomes precious. By keeping death in mind, we learn to appreciate each moment, to live with urgency, purpose, and depth. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic thinker, once wrote in his Meditations, "Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly." This reflection teaches us that each day is a gift and urges us to use it wisely. Practicing memento mori helps us recognize the beauty of the present and encourages us to live each day with gratitude and purpose. It allows us to direct our energy toward personal growth rather than becoming entangled in what is outside of our control. Enkrateia, self-control. The sixth Stoic principle is enkrateia, which translates to self-control. The Stoics saw self-control as essential for a virtuous and fulfilling life. It means having the discipline to govern your thoughts, emotions, and actions, especially when faced with temptations or difficulties. Self-control is not about repression, but about mastery. It is the strength to remain steady and aligned with your values, even when emotions or external pressures try to pull you off course. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, said that happiness is not found in the abundance of possessions or pleasures, but in the absence of desire. This quote reflects the Stoic belief that true self-control comes not from fighting desires, but from rising above them. By practicing enkrateia, you learn to govern yourself with wisdom and clarity. This form of discipline empowers you to stay grounded and focused on your personal development, regardless of the chaos or distractions around you. Affiliation, a sense of belonging. The seventh Stoic principle is affiliation, which refers to the deep sense of belonging and connection to a greater whole. The Stoics taught that we are all parts of a larger community and that we share a mutual responsibility to contribute to the well-being of others. Affiliation is the conscious recognition of our interconnectedness and the decision to act with that awareness. It's about realizing that our choices have effects not just on ourselves, but on the world around us. Hierocles, a Stoic philosopher, proposed a model of concentric circles to describe this idea. At the center is the individual, surrounded by family, friends, community, humanity, and finally, the cosmos. This model serves as a reminder that we are part of something much larger than ourselves, and that our actions can ripple outward to affect others. By practicing affiliation, you become more aware of the impact of your behavior and choices, and you begin to live in a way that contributes to both your personal growth and the good of your community. It's a balanced perspective that keeps you grounded in yourself while also expanding your compassion and responsibility toward others. Love for humanity. The eighth Stoic key is love for humanity. The Stoics held a deep belief in the importance of kindness, compassion, and generosity. Loving humanity means acting with goodness and empathy toward others, expecting nothing in return. It is the understanding that we are all members of the same human family, and with that comes a duty to care for and support one another. Seneca said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." This quote beautifully encapsulates the Stoic perspective on human connection. Regardless of the situation, there is always a moment to show compassion. Practicing love for humanity allows you to move through life with a generous heart and a spirit of unity. It encourages you to grow internally by doing good externally, fostering a deeper sense of meaning and connection with the world around you. Moderation. The ninth Stoic principle is moderation. The Stoics emphasize the importance of living a balanced life and avoiding extremes. They believed that true happiness and virtue are found in the middle ground, not in excess and not in deprivation. Moderation is about finding harmony within your desires, actions, and lifestyle. It is the wisdom to know when enough is enough, and the strength to maintain equilibrium in the face of temptation or hardship. By practicing moderation, you create space for peace, clarity, and thoughtful living. You are no longer ruled by cravings or impulsive behaviors, but are instead guided by reason and virtue. This balanced approach helps you grow internally while maintaining a steady and focused life path. Moderation allows you to develop a life of stability, wisdom, and inner freedom, hallmarks of the Stoic way. Living a balanced life and avoiding excess is about striving for harmony in all areas of your life. It means recognizing that extremes, whether they come in the form of pleasures or hardships, can often lead to discontent and suffering. This understanding is a central theme in Stoic philosophy. Epictetus, one of the most notable Stoic philosophers, once said that wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This insight teaches us that genuine wealth and lasting happiness are not found in acquiring material things or indulging in pleasure, but in leading a life of moderation and balance. When you begin to live this way, you start to discover a sense of peace and fulfillment that comes from within, rather than from external circumstances. Practicing this mindset helps you stay centered and focused on personal growth, allowing you to develop into your best self without falling into the trap of overindulgence. Differentiating what you can control from what you cannot is a fundamental Stoic practice. The Stoics believed that true peace and satisfaction in life come from placing our attention on what is within our power and accepting what lies beyond our control. This involves developing the ability to distinguish between your actions and thoughts, which are within your control, and the external events and circumstances that are not. It's about accepting that while you cannot always influence what happens around you, you do have full control over how you respond to those events. Epictetus emphasized this idea by saying, "It's not things that disturb us, but our opinions about things." This quote highlights the truth that our emotional state and inner peace are shaped not by external events themselves, but by how we interpret and react to them. Embracing this principle allows you to let go of unnecessary stress and focus instead on mastering your mindset and behavior, paving the way for deeper personal growth. The premeditation of evils, also known as negative visualization, was a regular exercise for the Stoics. They would mentally prepare themselves by imagining the possible difficulties or challenges they might face in the future. This wasn't an act of pessimism, but rather a wise and practical preparation. It is the art of anticipating potential hardships and developing the mental strength to deal with them, should they arise. This practice helps you build emotional resilience, so that when things don't go as expected, you are not caught off guard. A wise Stoic philosopher once stated that the wise always consider adversity as a possibility and are therefore prepared to face it. This thought reminds us that true wisdom lies not in naively hoping that everything will always go well, but in being prepared for life's uncertainties. When you embrace this mindset, you train yourself to remain calm, steady, and composed even in the most difficult circumstances. It's a perspective that reinforces your inner stability and supports your continuous development. The idea of universal connection is another powerful teaching in Stoicism. The Stoics believed that we are all integral parts of a larger whole, deeply connected with the universe and everything within it. This belief encourages us to recognize our place in the grand design and to act with an awareness of how our behavior affects the broader world. It's about understanding that every choice we make ripples outward and touches the lives of others and the balance of the universe itself. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman emperor, wrote in his Meditations, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." This quote serves as a reminder that we are not isolated individuals. Our well-being is tied to the collective well-being of the world around us. By living with this awareness, you begin to act more responsibly and with greater compassion, making choices that not only benefit you, but also support the greater good. This viewpoint encourages a life of purpose, empathy, and unity, all of which are essential for personal development and inner peace. Arete, often translated as the excellence of character, is at the heart of Stoic philosophy. The Stoics taught that the ultimate goal of life is to develop a virtuous character and live in alignment with nature. Arete is the daily practice of nurturing your inner virtues and staying true to your values. It's about understanding that real happiness and contentment don't come from external success or circumstances, but from your own character and the way you live your life. Epictetus spoke of this when he said, "Do not seek for events to happen as you want them to. Rather, want them to happen as they do, and your life will go smoothly." This wisdom reminds us that peace and happiness are not determined by the world around us, but by how we choose to respond to it. When you commit to practicing arete, you focus on becoming a person of integrity, wisdom, and virtue. It's a lifelong journey of self-discipline and inner growth, one that leads to true fulfillment. The principle of duty is a central tenet in Stoic thought. The Stoics believed that each person has a moral responsibility, not only to themselves, but also to others. Living by this principle means honoring your roles and responsibilities, not out of fear or obligation, but because it is the right and virtuous thing to do. It involves understanding that your actions have consequences, not just for you, but for the people and world around you. Fulfilling your duty with integrity strengthens your character and creates a positive ripple effect in the world. It's about living in a way that is consistent with your values, being reliable, and doing your part to contribute to the greater good. This sense of duty brings clarity, purpose, and a deep sense of inner satisfaction, and it is essential to living a life of virtue and personal excellence. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, reflected in his Meditations that one should do what is in harmony with the nature of a good man. This quote serves as a powerful reminder that our responsibility is to behave in ways that reflect the virtues and nature of a morally upright person. By embracing this mindset, you can learn to carry out your responsibilities and obligations in a way that resonates with your inner values and ethical beliefs. Adopting this perspective enables you to remain centered on your personal growth and self-development. Logos, the principle of universal reason, forms the 15th and final essential element of Stoic wisdom. The Stoics believed in an underlying rational structure to the universe, a guiding logic known as the Logos. According to their view, the universe operates according to this built-in reason, and it is our task as human beings to live in accordance with this natural order. Practicing Logos means committing to the pursuit of truth and wisdom by means of rational thought and logical inquiry. It involves recognizing that our actions and decisions should be influenced by reason, rather than being swayed by fluctuating emotions or impulsive desires. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote that everything that happens in the way that universal nature wants it to happen. This statement reminds us that we must seek to understand the flow of universal logic and live in accordance with it, rather than resist or fight against it. By embracing the principle of Logos, you can learn to make thoughtful and rational choices, allowing your life to align more closely with the wisdom and reason that governs the universe. This approach not only grounds you in personal discipline, but also deepens your connection to the greater cosmic order, reinforcing your focus on self-mastery and purposeful living. We now arrive at the end of our journey through the 15 Stoic principles that guide us toward focusing on ourselves. Each one of these timeless teachings offers a unique insight into how we can lead a life that is not only fulfilling, but deeply meaningful. From ataraxia, the state of serene calmness, to Logos, the universal reason, these Stoic principles remind us that we possess the inner power to control our actions and responses. They call us to live in alignment with our values and to contribute to the well-being of those around us. Let us remember that Stoicism is not merely an ancient philosophy preserved in books. It is a practical and transformative guide meant to be lived and practiced daily. If you apply these Stoic principles in your own life, you can discover a profound sense of inner peace, live with clear intention, and awaken your true potential. So, the question remains, are you prepared to begin this journey of self-discovery and inner transformation? As the great Stoic thinker Seneca once said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Thank you for accompanying us on this path through Stoicism. May these teachings serve to inspire you to turn inward, cultivate personal strength, and lead a life that is rich with meaning and purpose. Until we meet again. Have you ever felt like a ghost, invisible and forgotten, simply because someone chose to create space between you and them? It's a strange kind of silence, one that can make you feel like the air around you has thickened. But here's the truth. This is not the end of your world. Maybe your mind jumps into overdrive, spinning 1,000 stories, blaming yourself, believing you're the reason for the distance. You convince yourself that something is wrong with you. But take a deep breath. Sometimes what seems like absence is really just silence filled with meaning. And in today's video, I want to help you navigate those moments when someone begins to pull away. I'm going to share 9 powerful lessons that are worth their weight in gold. Don't miss the final one. It carries a truth so striking that it may just leave you speechless. Stoic philosophy reminds us of something essential. You can't control what others choose to do, but you can always control how you respond. What if, instead of seeing this distance as abandonment, you saw it as a chance to focus on something that truly matters, reconnecting with yourself? In those quiet spaces, when you stop chasing answers, you uncover something priceless. Your value is not defined by who pays attention to you. Let go of the habit of letting other people's silence poison your self-worth, because no good ever comes from that. And now, listen closely to what comes next. But before diving into the core lessons, I want to share a story that will help you grasp the wisdom embedded in this message. In a time long ago, nestled in a mountain village bordered by rivers, lived a woman named Mariella. Her soul was quietly aching because someone she deeply cared for had started to drift away from her without warning, without explanation. Mariella felt abandoned, confused, lost in an emotional fog. Every day, she drowned a little deeper in her own sadness, desperately trying to understand why she had been pushed aside. One day, in search of peace, she wandered through the forest, letting her feet guide her where her heart could not. There, beside a flowing river, she came across a wise old man who lived in a simple wooden hut. He saw the pain in her eyes and asked gently, "My child, what burden are you carrying in your heart?" Mariella, with tears streaming down her face, shared her sorrow and the silent wound of being ignored without cause. The old man listened intently, his face calm, nodding as she spoke. When her words ran dry, he began to tell her a story. Long ago, in this very forest, there stood a magnificent tree. Its branches stretched wide, its leaves sparkled under the sun. Birds from everywhere came to rest on its limbs, building nests, finding refuge. It was the tree of life and comfort. But as time passed, some birds stopped returning. They flew elsewhere, leaving the tree with empty branches. The tree felt sorrowful and questioned itself. What had it done wrong? Mariella was captivated, hanging on the old man's every word. He continued, "One day, a gentle breeze swept through the tree's branches and whispered, 'Do not grieve for the birds that leave. They fly according to their own needs. But you, dear tree, must keep growing. Keep reaching toward the heavens and digging your roots deep into the earth. Those who truly value your shelter will always return.'" Yeah. In that moment, something shifted inside Mariella. She began to see her own pain from a new light. She realized she couldn't control the actions of others, but she could grow stronger, just like the tree. With gratitude, she thanked the wise man and returned home carrying a sense of peace she hadn't felt in a long time. The lesson here is clear. When someone pulls away or starts to ignore you, it's not your role to chase after them or twist yourself into knots asking why. Your true task is to keep growing, keep being you. Trust that those who genuinely see your worth will always find their way back. And with that, we begin with the first of our essential insights. If these reflections speak to you, I invite you to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next piece of wisdom. Let's begin. Have you ever experienced someone withdrawing from you without offering a reason? That sinking feeling of being left hanging, of being overlooked, is a deeply uncomfortable place to be. You start spinning tales in your head, wondering what you did to deserve such detachment. Your mind becomes a movie producer, creating scenarios so exaggerated that even Hollywood would shy away. But what if silence wasn't rejection? What if it was simply a pause, a space for breath? Silence, as the Stoics wisely taught, carries a value far beyond mere absence of sound. It's easy to misinterpret someone's distance as a sign that something is wrong, as if relationships were equations. Someone ignores you, therefore something must be broken. But human emotions aren't equations. Often the stories we tell ourselves are nothing more than distorted reflections of our own fears. Maybe the person who pulled away is struggling with something internal, something you can't see. Perhaps they need space, not from you specifically, but from the world in general. Think about it. Haven't you ever craved solitude, a break from conversations, responsibilities, even your own thoughts? The need to retreat doesn't make you strange. It makes you human. Sure, sometimes people distance themselves for less noble reasons, but before jumping to conclusions, why not approach the situation with compassion, both for them and for yourself? This is where the Stoic lens helps. It teaches us not just to step back from others, but to observe our own storm of emotions. How you react to silence is where your power lies. If you assume rejection every time someone takes space, then that becomes your reality. Try a different perspective. Instead of diving into panic and self-blame, view the silence as a mirror. What does it show you about your own expectations? Let your thoughts breathe. Don't be so quick to fill the silence with fears or assumptions that may have no grounding in truth. Sometimes the quiet between two people is simply that, quiet. It doesn't have to be ominous. It might even be necessary. Silence doesn't always mean detachment. It can be a sacred pause, a moment for both sides to reflect, to heal. So, the next time you feel yourself slipping into the anxiety of being ignored, just stop, breathe. Maybe, just maybe, that silence is the very one you would wish for if the noise became too much. To truly understand silence is to practice patience with others and with yourself. Epictetus once said that silence is not always empty. Sometimes it's the space where the soul returns to itself. Now, have you ever felt that gut-wrenching sting of being treated like you don't exist? That piercing sensation when someone's indifference feels like a slap to your dignity. It's a heavy weight to carry, one that makes you ask, what did I do wrong? But here's a radical shift in thinking. Maybe the goal isn't to change other people's behavior, but to strengthen your own self-worth so that their indifference doesn't knock you down like a tidal wave. It sounds straightforward, but anyone who's lived through this knows it isn't always easy to stay composed when you're feeling invisible. Let's be real. When someone ignores you, your mind can become your worst enemy. It invents stories, blames you, fixates on flaws,